We are ready. Yep.
There we go. There we go. I had to change microphones on the radio side, so should be good there now. So.
Yeah. And copyright strike coming up.
Yep. Welcome to another episode of Metalheads Unite.
Yes. Saturday once.
Copyright strike 342.
I don't know. I don't know how many copyright strikes we would have gotten by now, but I'm gonna go with that camera view. That was better. Another copyright strike gonna come and go. So yeah, it'll be fine. If anyone is wondering why my backdrop looks a little bit different today, that is because I am not in Tennessee. I am actually in Michigan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cool being back home in Michigan, but unfortunately, the reason why I'm here isn't very cool. I actually had to come up and attend a funeral for my aunt. So.
Oh man, hate to hear that.
Yeah. So that's kind of unfortunate, but so that sucked. So I had to, the service was a couple of days ago. So, but up here today, hanging out at mom and dad's house, making a visit before we come back down there tomorrow. So, but I lugged everything up here so we could still broadcast today. So
I'm sure it's a lot more pleasant weather-wise there. I'm sure.
Oh man, the weather's been beautiful. It was in like the mid 70s. There, it was like a nice breeze. We were actually out at my uncle's house last night. Everybody was sitting outside on the deck, hanging out in the gazebo. We were playing cornhole in the yard. I mean, I was like, oh man. I was like, can I bottle this and take it back to Tennessee with me? It was great.
Last night I was outside and I was just like, man, tonight was like perfect for a little fire last night. But
yeah,
of course, with everything going on, I didn't try any of that. But
yeah, thankfully we're not too far away from being able to get back to the Friday night fires. So that'll be nice.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. So, but yep. So we are back with another new episode this week. Back to the original format. We're still trying to nail down another guest or two for the show. So, but so we've got 2 weeks worth of history to go over, later on in the show. But we were able to get everything else done last week after Source of Rage joined us. So we didn't get too far behind.
And if you guys missed that, you can go back and check that out on Twitch and YouTube, and
yes, you can.
Our Facebook page still has it there, so there's plenty of options there for you if you wanted to check that out. You can still play that in the background and clean your house or whatever you.
Yeah, clean the house, work on the car, mow the lawn.
Actually, I know somebody that says that. Says, yeah, I clean my house every Saturday morning and listen to you guys. I said, well, hey man, whatever you do, we just appreciate you listening. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You don't necessarily have to sit here and stare at us talk for 2.5 hours. So
right, yeah. I'm sure it's, as long as you can hear the content, that's the main thing anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Facial expressions are good sometimes too,
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
but oh man, I was already telling people the crazy Will story from last week. That was pretty wild. So from
Oh
Source of
yeah,
Rage, yeah.
yeah.
So that's one of the good things I like about having like the bands like that on here is you get like a different a type of road story from these
Hmm.
guys because they're not got some bus driver hired to log load them around everywhere across the United States or wherever they're at,
Right.
so they have
Yeah.
to do their own thing. So it's kind of creates some good travel stories, but
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
so
Well, and it's cool too because I mean, when we start up when we lead off the show like with the current events segment, I mean, we're getting the stories, from
mhm,
journalists, and
right,
they're just reporting the details they're given. So when we can bring the bands on and we can ask them, what's a cool story that you guys have that
yeah,
said that people may not have heard, and then you get it right from the
right.
source, from
First
the
first
people.
hand, first hand. So
Exactly, so and you get all of the details that you probably wouldn't get if you were reading it like on Loudwire or this, that, and the other thing.
right.
So I mean,
Well,
so yeah,
and then and then like we've talked about how it's it tells a story, but then it gets opinionated by the time it gets to the end. So
well, of course,
so
yeah.
it's so we try to weed that out a lot, but
Hmm.
and or the repetitive news story, just like I had one of those today too. But
Right.
just like anything Megadeth right now is going to be. Oh, and by the way, Dave Ellison got kicked out of it, which we know already.
Yeah, I know.
It's like we don't need to hear it. 50,000 times. We know.
Yeah, that dead horse has
Yeah,
been
and Dave is not involved in the album, so we'd have no reason to know anything about Dave right now.
right. Yeah, we really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Megadeth goes at this point, I mean, David Ellefson is really a non-issue anymore.
Right.
I'm, I'm happy that he's got that new project going on because that
Yeah.
that that first single that came out for it was actually really good. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's heard the new Megadeth single that came out too. Yeah, so I'm just like
yeah.
I still think that the "We'll Be Back" still my favorite so far
Oh,
out of the
absolutely.
three, but that one's definitely the second close second. So
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I really think, and the thing I like about it, like the first three songs so far off the new album, since Dirk Verburen has been in the band, he adds like a different element
mhm,
with his drumming style. It's just it's kind of amazing what one new addition can do for a band, just bringing in his style. And it almost seems like, and I mean, I could be totally off base, but I mean, just going by what I've heard so far on the first three singles, it's almost kind of like Dave kind of took like the restraints off of Kiko Loureiro and was like, all right, go, just let me, like, literally let me see what you can do. And like,
right.
I mean, the shredding on these the shredding on the solos on these first three songs is just absolutely insane. I am just like blown away by it. It's been so good.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the rest of the album to come out. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's gonna
god.
be it's definitely shaping up to be a good one, that's for sure. So
Yeah. And the funny thing is Dave sounds really good on it too. I mean,
yeah,
his he
yeah,
does
yeah.
his he does. He sounds good.
Yeah, I think they just kind of played to his, what he can do anymore. So
Yeah.
they just kind of play. I mean, that's what you got to do when you go through what he went through. Is you just got to play to what you can do. So,
Yeah.
so it definitely even with the shredding and ripping going on, it tempos down just enough for his vocals to be
Mhm.
to kind of blend in. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a good mix. So
Yeah, and it sounds like they're consciously not trying to make him,
mhm,
go out of what his range is now,
right,
because with him, with the cancer and everything, and then obviously, I mean, he's like 60, so I mean,
close to it.
yeah, he's getting up there. So I mean, you make some adjustments, but like I say, I mean, pulling it back in for him so he doesn't have to go way out there with any high notes, which I mean, he'll even tell you, I mean, he's never been the best singer. So
Hmm.
you know but yeah, I mean, it sounds like everything has just come together so far in the first 3 singles. It's just, man, it really sounds like it's just going to be, blazing from start to finish. And I'm super duper looking forward to it.
And then, I got a message saying that I had a couple of CDs on pre-order with everything going on. I said, I don't know if I saw a picture a while back where I just now finally hit the button on a few things that I've been in my car. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to pre-order all this stuff so I don't have to like deal with that. So so I got like a lot of stuff on pre-order right now. So, but I got a message. Yesterday saying that the Machine Head got pushed up a week, so that's some good news. So,
oh, nice.
So I think it's like the 5th of September or something now. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, so we'll be getting into that pretty soon, actually. So,
it's actually funny that you bring that album up, because we were just talking about the Megadeth album. They just released the 3rd single. We haven't gotten another single release off of that new Machine Head yet, and I'm kind of surprised. Of course, I wonder if the reason why I do wonder if the reason why that is because the last EP that they put out,
it's going to be on there.
Is going to be on the new album, so that could be why. So I guess technically we've already gotten 4 songs off the new album, so that would be my guess. But I'm still kind of surprised at the same time. So
yeah. Well, Rob, he's not one of those that give you everything at once, like some bands do. So,
oh, absolutely,
So he's definitely gonna make you wait for anything else, probably. So,
oh yeah, he's definitely doing that for sure.
So I see messages and that reminded me to get logged into. Those that give you everything at once, like anything else, probably. So,
oh yeah, he's definitely
logged into a couple of these apps here where I can actually communicate with people here. So I apologize.
Hey, Octavio.
Yeah.
Good morning. How are you? It's good to see you.
Yeah. So, all right. So I guess we got a little bit to get into here. I got actually instead of a news story, I had an actual conversational piece that, I think we really need to talk about.
Oh, those are always good.
Because I was going through it and I was just like, whatever. And actually, it's going to create some homework for us, so I hope you don't mind that. So,
no, I don't mind. I don't mind at all.
But I was just kind of, once I read through it, I was kind of curious on what we could have come up with. So. But anyway, we'll kick off like normal here with some birthdays, and then we'll get into some current news events here. So, birthdays from the 7th through the 13th. August the 7th was a big one. We had Bruce Dickinson, of course, vocalist for Iron Maiden. We had Jamie Josta, of course, vocalist for Hatebreed and Josta. We had Michael Wyckoff, guitarist for Halloween. We had Johnny Solinger, singer for Skid Row from 95 to 2015, and he unfortunately passed away in 2021. We had Leon Strait, singer for Snot, which he passed away in 1998. And then we had Gall, vocalist for Gorgoroth. So pretty big list for one day.
Yeah.
So
that was a busy day.
And then we had August the 8th, we had Ricky Rocket, drummer for Poison, Scott Stapp, vocalist for Creed, Sam Totman, guitarist for Dragon Force. August 9th, we had Tilly Smith, vocalist guitarist for The Word Alive. Marinus Goretzson, bassist and keyboardist for Golden Earring. Greg Chasson, bassist for Badlands. Kyle Keterling, bassist for Bang Tango. And Lee Kakati, singer for Pop Evil. I think it's like I started going through this and I said, man, maybe this was the month for bassists, a lot of bassists, because I remember like doing days I passed. I was like, man, there's a lot of bassists this month, but
yeah.
Then August the 10th, we had Hansi Kirsch, singer for Blind Guardian, and I'm probably going to butcher some of these names, and I apologize because I am the cornbread metalhead for a reason. So, Christopher Johnson, guitarist and composer for Therion, August 11th, we had Eric Brand, guitarist for Iron Butterfly, who unfortunately passed away in 2003. Ross Halfin, he was a rock and heavy metal concert tour and portrait photographer. So we always like to give props to those people when we know they're the, when we get the information anyway. So
Yeah.
I mean, like we said, this doesn't, this goes far beyond musicians sometimes, So,
Oh, absolutely.
managers and roadies and all these people,
Mm-hmm.
they make everything happen too. So, and then August the 12th, we had a Morty Black, bassist for TNT. Wednesday 13, vocalist, of course, for Wednesday 13 and Murder Dolls. And August the 13th, we had David St. Hubbins, singer for Spinal Tap. And Rick Parnell, drummer for Atomic Rooster and Spinal Tap. Of course, he passed away in 2022, so earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ian Hogland, drummer for Europe, and Tig Kettler, drummer for band Bang Tango. So Bang Tango got some love and birthdays this week.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So happy birthday to those folks. And
Yep.
if I missed anybody out there, happy birthday to you as well. And of course, like always, if anybody listening has a birthday, happy birthday to you.
Absolutely.
Hopefully it was a good one. And if you're doing it today and spending it with us, thank you for that. So,
yep. You picked a good way.
I could think of a lot worse ways to spend a birthday morning, but
that's true.
Or evening, wherever you may be, I guess.
Yeah, depending where you are. Shout outs to the Defaced, the Source of Rage, and to Devil over there across the Atlantic.
Yeah, enjoying evening toddies by now, but
that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
Or pints, I guess, depending on what part of the country you're in over there.
That's true. Yep. Yeah. All right.
Well, so not to be partial or anything, but I really do enjoy talking more to the bands that are over there, mainly because we don't live there, so it's kind of like it's cool to hear like the difference in the way they do things there and the way we do things here. So it's always kind of cool to hear those stories. So
yeah. And it's still kind of, even though, we've gotten to interview 3 bands, from over there in Europe, it's still kind of mind blowing, that, we're here, of course, this, obviously this week I'm not in Tennessee like Jason is, but I mean, on a normal week, we're both just, hanging out at our house in Tennessee. And then we're talking to somebody like literally halfway around the world.
Right.
So it's just kind of mind boggling to me,
Then just about 3 short weeks I'll be in Virginia. So
right, yeah.
So that'll be
I know.
We'll keep y'all guys updated if we have to move some times around for that show. But
yeah. And
because as much as I love you guys, I'm not missing anybody. So
right, yeah, no, I definitely don't blame you there. Not at all.
Especially, I kind of missed 2 bands that I wanted to see. Like, luckily, I got to see Testament, again. But that would have been my first time seeing Testament would have been last year at Blue Ridge. But
right,
luckily they came back around and we got to knock that one off the bucket list. But
they,
them and Soulfly were on my and Fear Factory were all 3 on my list, and I missed all 3 of them because of the clusterfuck of the traffic, and nobody knew about. You pay for parking, but nobody knew where you were supposed to park. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So it was definitely a. Hopefully, like I said, with them being at the Speedway this year, it'll be a little bit more organized, because I'm sure they're used to that kind of traffic. So.
Well, see, and another thing, and I didn't even think of this at first, with them being at the Speedway, hopefully what they've done is hopefully they're using like a lot of the same people that they would use for like race day. So they know so they would know how to handle the influx of people for an event like that. So hopefully they did that.
Especially like security and vendors and stuff. So
right. Yeah. So basically, hopefully they do kind of treat it like race day.
Yeah.
Because, they'll probably have, because I know NASCAR, isn't as popular as it was, back in the day, back when Dale Earnhardt was still alive. I mean, every Sunday there would be like 6 figures at all these racetracks, like every single one. So, I mean, I don't know if they're pulling in the same numbers, but, I'm sure they're still pulling in tens of thousands of spectators for a Sunday. So, a venue like that knows how to handle it. So hopefully they've, like I said, hey, you guys know how to handle, traffic on a race day, so maybe you can help us out for this festival. So I mean, that would have been the smart play. So
yeah. I think we were talking like after this year, we're probably going to try to like limit our festival going because it's just I don't know, man. It's like I guess the thing that with me is like I wind up using like a lot of my vacation time to be like going to these things, and then I don't really have like a lot of vacation time to go do what I want to do. So
yeah, I hear you.
So it's kind of I don't know, like what then we was talking. I was talking about that yesterday, and then I said, yeah, we need to do something different. And then of course she said, oh, we can go on that 7,000 ton cruise or whatever it was.
The 70,000 tons of metal.
Yeah. She's like, so we can just go on that then. I'm just like, it's still a festival. We're just on water. It's like, okay, whatever. It's like,
right.
Yeah. If that's what you want to do, that's what we'll do. So, happy wife, happy life.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, in September, I mean, we're going. You're going to the festival, but I mean, on top of that, we're going up to Nashville to see Testament, Exodus, and
which is 5 days after I get back. So from the festival, so it's kind of like stacked right there, and then
Well, I mean, Kayla and I, we're going to that show, and then 5 days later, we're going back up to Nashville to go see Slipknot. So, So I mean, September is going to be a busy month anyway. So, not that I'm complaining, but
right. And then of course, October we were looking into going on that road trip to see Angelus Hepatritus. So,
oh, that's right. Jesus, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I got looking.
I forgot that was I
got looking at tickets for that too because I've actually. We're saying about it yesterday, and then had a lot going on personally, so didn't get to get into it much. So
yeah.
All right. Well, we bored you enough with all of our personal stuff, so I guess.
Right. Yeah. With all of the concerts we're going to be trying to go see. All right.
Dip into the news of the week here.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead. Well, where are we going to start today? Well, thankfully, on the plus side, we don't have any, there weren't any passings in the heavy metal world today. So that's always good. Then we're happy to report that. So let's see. Let's start with something that I found just this morning over at blabbermouth.net. This one's interesting. According to TMZ, Metallica frontman James Hetfield and his wife of more than 2 decades have called it quits.
What?
Sources close to the former couple tell the tabloid site James filed for divorce from Francesca Hetfield in their home state of Colorado earlier this year. Hetfield met Francesca in 1992, and they've been married since 1997. The two are said to still be in touch as they co-parent their daughters Callie, 20, and Marcella, 16, and son Castor, 18. This past May, Hetfield got emotional during a Metallica concert in Brazil, admitting to the audience that he, quote, was feeling a little bit insecure, end quote, prior to taking the stage. James had been open about his battles with addiction, anxiety, and low self-esteem in the past, most recently last fall, while discussing the transformation he had to undergo in order to successfully front Metallica during the touring cycle for the band's 1991 self-titled album, which stands as one of the top-selling records of all time. I know, right? He told Apple Music's Zane Lowe in October of 2021, quote, there was such an expectation already on myself to not let the team down and be the best as possible. But then you add 60,000 people out there. You need to be what they need you to be because this is what you've evolved to be. And it is a little bit of Oz, referencing the classic 1900 children's book, The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, which was then adapted into the 2-time Oscar-winning film in 1939. Like the man behind the curtain, pay no attention, but this guy behind the curtain is just dying and struggling and freaking out and not knowing who he is, end quote. I'm not going to continue on. This is a perfect example of what Jason and I were talking about.
Yeah.
The story starts talking about one thing, and then you literally go down a rabbit hole talking about something else completely. So I'm not going to. It's starting to rehash. So we're not going to go through all that. So yeah, I saw that this morning. It was actually within 1 hour of the show starting. I was pulling up the stories so I could read them, because my phone took a shit. So I was pulling everything up, and I saw that story. I was like, whoa, that's kind of surprising. So
yeah, wow.
But I didn't have time to really read the story ahead of time. So
it seemed like they from the story, it seems like they were kind of on mutual terms with it. So
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that we're kind of just now finding out about it is kind of surprising. Something like that, something like that didn't leak out ahead of time because I guess the story said they'd been separated since May, and here we are,
Right.
halfway through August, just now hearing about it.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, maybe they
which I
were
mean,
trying. Maybe they were trying to work it out. So,
that's a possibility.
mm,
But I mean, good luck to them both, though. Him
yeah.
and Francesca.
Well, I'm
If
sure.
like if it's something amicable,
Yeah,
that happens sometimes.
I'm sure with the income he has, the alimony payments aren't going to be too rough. So,
Mm. Well, I wonder. I wonder what. I mean, I don't know, but I wonder what kind of. I wonder what the alimony stipulations are in Colorado. I couldn't
yeah, I
couldn't
don't
even
know.
begin to guess. So.
Yeah. It may just be, with it being legalized, you may just pay her in weed.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just, I'm just kidding. All right, my first one is over from Metal Hammer. I have a segue from one of yours, so I'll save that for whenever you
Nice.
read out there. So this one's from Metal Hammer. Renowned archival label, the Numero Group, have announced the release of Bound for Hell on the Sunset Strip, a collection of tracks documenting the early days of the Los Angeles glam metal scene. Artists featured on the double album include familiar names like Armored Saint, Black and Blue, and Lizzie Borden, alongside long lost songs from Ready, Kilowatt, Angelus, Max Havoc, Sin, Lisa Baker, Jaded Lady, Leather Angel, Hellion, and Bitch. And in a move that will surely delight fans of the classic Penelope Spheris documentary, The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years, Odin also feature. Uh, so the infamous Sunset Strip glam metal scene of the 80s is one that has been covered excessively and for a good reason, says the album's producer and researcher Adam Luxitic. But usually the analysis goes too far past bands like Motley Crue, Poison, Quiet Riot, and etc. Our goal with Bound for Hell was to narrow in on the equally impressive independent or unsigned bands that thrived in that same scene, but in most cases never benefited from the major label feeding frenzy. With a bounty of unseen photos, pages of flyers, and detailed liner notes, these bands get more time in the spotlight, which is kind of reminded me of kind of what we do. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, the collection is accompanied by a 144-page book featuring rare photos and flyers alongside an essay by Catherine Turman, author of Louder Than Hell, The Definitive Oral History of Metal. The Sunset Strip sang an irresistible siren song to young metalheads. The stretch from Tower Records West to Geffen Records headquarters, says Turman. The Rainbow and Gazaris were ground zero, both inside and on the sidewalks out front. The Numero Group have also released a stream of the song that gives the collection its name, Bound for Hell by Max Max Romeo, a band formed in 1981 who would go on include Quiet Riot's Carlos Cavazo and Wasp's Tony Richards among its members. The new release is in addition to two tracks already released by the label, Stormers Going to the City and LA Rocks Cocaine. You can hear all three tracks in your whatever you listen to. I'm sure it's there. So, and then there's of course a video I think on YouTube too. So, Bound for Hell on the Sunset Strip is available for pre-order from the Numero Group, and is available on black vinyl, white lines vinyl, and sheer Savage CD in a limited edition of 500 poser-proof die-hard edition on translucent red vinyl edition, which arrives with a bonus cassette of songs from Black and Blue, Lisa Baker, Stormer, Odin, and Leather Angel. But it's kind of crazy because bringing that up, I don't mean to like cut into the story, but I was going to pre-order Megadeth's new album, and when I was
Mm-hmm.
doing that, they actually are going to put out a cassette of the new album, which I thought was kind of wild. I was like, "What?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's pretty cool." I guess that's kind of still a thing.
I could be wrong, but I even think Machine Head's new album is going to be available on cassette too. I'd have to double check that,
Yeah,
but I think so.
yeah,
And
that's
and here's a funny thing. We were in Ann Arbor, shopping yesterday, and we were at Meyer, and Kayla and I, we were walking around just hanging out before we went over to see my grandparents, and we were walking through the electronics department. We saw they actually have cassette Walkmans
Oh wow! So
I
that's
was
coming. I guess that's coming back. I guess.
Kayla and I were like both amazed, like, holy shit, there's a cassette Walkman right here. I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen one of those in
That's
forever.
pretty good. Well, I mean, it's like the age we're living in now, retro was cool. So,
Well,
you know,
yeah.
everybody's buying, record players
Mm-hmm.
again and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's a cool collector's type thing now, I think.
Yeah.
So,
It all comes back around.
yeah, which, I still got like 450 cassettes packed up somewhere. So,
Yeah.
uh, anyway, the Numero Group are also responsible for Orc Records, New York, a double Grammy nominated box set of recordings from the label responsible for early releases by the likes of Television and Richard Hale, as well as Blondie's recently announced Mammoth 10 LP set Against the Odds, 74 to 82. Other releases from that label include two collections of proto metal, Warfaring Strangers, Dark Scorch Canticles, and Warfaring Strangers Acid Nightmares, as well as a long lost album by early Chicago metalheads Medusa. So man, they really got a who's who of independent bands on their stuff. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah, that was very cool. All right, let's see. Where were we gonna go next? All right, I'm gonna go over to the PRP for a little bit. Let's see. A lengthy new wave of skill certifications focused on the legendary grunge outfit Alice in Chains have just been announced by the RIAA. That list was issued on August 5th and covers sales streams earned in the United States. First in line was the band's 1990 debut album Facelift. That effort has just achieved 3x multi-platinum status, having previously gone 2x in March of 1997. Man in the Box, which was launched as the second single from that opus in January of 1991, was certified gold, platinum, and ultimately 3x platinum, all on August 5th. Next up was the group's 1992 sophomore album Dirt and a variety of singles from it. That classic release is now officially 5x multi-platinum, having last been certified 4x multi-platinum in May of 2000. Its lead single Wood hit gold, platinum, and 2x multi-platinum status in its newest round of awards. Furthermore, its follow-up single Them Bones has now gone both gold and platinum. Rooster, which was launched as the fourth single from the record in March of 93, has also hit gold, platinum, and 2x multi-platinum status. Closing out the round of awards for that record is the album's final single, Down in a Hole, which just notched up both gold and platinum status. The awards also extend to Seattle-based Outfit's 1994 EP Jar of Flies, which is now 4x multi-platinum, having previously released 3x multi-platinum status back in September of 1995. Its lead single, No Excuses, is now gold certified, while the second single, I Stay Away, has also just gone gold. Ironically, the non-single track Nutshell has since become the most popular track from the EP, newly going both gold and platinum status. Elsewhere, the band's 1996 single Heaven Beside You from their 1995 self-titled album is now officially gold. Their acclaimed 1996 MTV Unplugged is now double platinum, having last gone platinum in September of 96. On the compilation front, the Outfit's 2001 Greatest Hits album is newly platinum, having last gone gold in November of 05, while 2006's The Essential Alice in Chains collection has gone gold. So, and for those that you don't know, in the United States, gold is 500,000 units, platinum is a million units. So congratulations to them on all those benchmarks for all of those albums. So congratulations to them on those.
It's crazy. It's crazy to have that much go at,
Right. Well, it's still weird that they can certify something gold, platinum, and multi-platinum at the same time. It's like, what is taking you so long? Obviously, they didn't.
Right.
Obviously, they didn't hit 500, a million, and 2 million at the same time.
Oh,
so
yeah, right.
Yeah, what's taking you so long to get these certifications rolled through? I don't know. It seems weird, especially since like some of them took place like in 2000, and here we are in 2022. It's like 22 years. It took that long. I don't know. I don't know how often the RIAA updates this stuff, but I don't know.
Somebody lost their job along the way or something. But
you're right. I mean, better late than never, of course. But still,
yeah.
It just seems like they would be on top of this shit a little better.
All right, I'm going over to Metal Hammer here and keeping the Alice in Chains theme going. Alice in Chains have revealed that they'll be releasing an expansive box set edition of their 1992 masterpiece Dirt to make the album's 30th anniversary. Released on September 29th of 1992, Dirt has sold over 5 million copies worldwide and was the final AIC album to be recorded by all 4 original members. Limited to just 3,000 units and available exclusively from the band's web store. The box set is retailing for $275 plus shipping. The new edition features a box with lid filled with metal shavings. Move shavings around to create your own Dirt design using magnetic cover figurine. Resin cover figurine fits atop vinyl records on your record player. Dirt on Orange 2 LP for the first time with remastered audio. Dirt on CD with remastered audio. 5 7-inch singles with brand new artwork on various colored vinyls. Them Bones, Down on a Hole, Rooster, Angry Cherry, and Wood, which you just talked about all of those songs, I think. So, then 80 pages, an 80-page hardbound book, exclusive Dirt-inspired art prints by Cody Mellick, Victor Melendez, Brent McKee, and Eric Wolf Salston. 2-sided fold-out poster, an 8x10 band photo glossy, 4 reprinted show posters, reprinted set list, and a Dirt tour laminate. So, I mean, that's a pretty good bit of memorabilia, I guess. But I remember buying. We kind of like cringe at those prices, but I remember when Metallica's live shit came out, I paid $115 for that back then. So,
that is true.
So that's probably like paying $300 for it now. But
that's a good point. That is a very good point.
I guess like my main thing that I have is I have the Ozzy Live and Loud set too, which had a replica of a couple of his tattoos in there that are still in there intact. So I always find that amazing. I open it up every once in a while. I'm like, man, the tattoo's still there. It's cool.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna stay over at the PRP for one. I'm gonna stay over at the PRP for one more. Breakout hardcore act Turnstile have announced they are parting ways with lead guitarist and backing vocalist Brady Ebert. Ebert helped co-found the band and had been a member since their inception back in 2010. A statement issued via social media by the band on August 12th reads, quote, Turnstile and guitarist Brady Ebert are parting ways. We are deeply grateful for our time together. Our love for him continues, and we wish him nothing but the best moving forward. Love, Turnstile. Ebert had been absent from some of the band's touring this year, with Greg Cerwonka of Take Offense filling in. Thus far, there is no word on a potential placement for Ebert, and there is a little bit of an update here at the bottom of the story from August 12th. The original story came out. Well, it came out on August 12th. I guess they updated the. I guess they must have had done the update the same day. So here we are.
They got new information, I guess.
Yeah, they got more information. Word of a peace order being filed against Ebert by Turnstile drummer Daniel Fang has since surfaced online via the band's fan community, with a pair of hearings having been held this month. While a temporary peace order was said to have been granted on August 4th, barring Ebert from abusing, contacting, or coming near Fang's home or his employment, it would appear that the order was ultimately denied. Per a final hearing listed as having been held yesterday, August 11th, obviously, yesterday was the 12th, so, in the District Court of Maryland, the request for the order against Ebert wasn't granted due to there being, quote, no statutory basis for relief, end quote. Essentially, that ruling equates to there not being enough evidence to enforce the order, or that it falls out of the jurisdiction of the local laws. A peace order is commonly granted against someone who is alleged to have abused, stalked, harassed, or destroyed the property of someone else. So that kind of adds an interesting wrinkle to the story of, our love for him continues and we wish him nothing but the best moving forward. But so, that's kind of that kind of, gives you a little bit of pause. It's like, well, something happened.
Right.
We don't know what that was. So we may kind of see some more about this come out, and if we do get more details, obviously we'll pass those along to you guys. But good luck to everybody, even though it sounds like there may have been a little bit of behind the scenes animosity. So we'll see if any more comes of it. So hopefully everything works out for everyone involved.
Yeah, that's a little bit wild. There's somebody was stalking somebody or something.
A little bit. Yeah.
All right, this one is over from Loudwire, and of course, leave it to Loudwire for us to heat up a discussion. So,
Yeah,
so
no, they wouldn't be.
yeah,
Loudwire wouldn't be an
yeah,
instigator, would they?
they
No.
actually had
No.
a another another one of these with a different year. So I'm going to go back and do that one next week probably. So,
Oh, okay. All right.
or the week after, we'll see what happens. But I
Okay.
saved it in there so I could go back to it. So because I thought it was
Oh,
kind of
okay, cool.
interesting. And actually, we'll probably be more. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say on board with their opinions with the next one, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Anyway,
Gotcha.
this one's the first half of the '80s was a transitional period for rock and metal, as many key '70s artists relinquished traditional instrumentation, audacious songwriting, and organic production in favor of the more accessible and synthetic approaches. All the while, the rise of glam rock metal, dance pop, contemporary R&B, and new wave demonstrated that mainstream tastes were shifting. Of course, the early part of the decade, especially 1982, also saw plenty of seminal groups releasing great albums. Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast, Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance, and Scorpions Blackout, just to name a few. With that in mind, we've chosen 10 live lineups from that year that we really wish we could see again. Granted, some of these acts weren't at the top of their game yet. Their set list and or the circumstances surrounding their performance made their shows unmissable. So this is their 10 rock and metal tours that they wish they could see now, which, I'm going to tell you, we're not going to agree with all of these. So,
Okay.
but mainly because you'll get down there and you were like, okay, this isn't really, I mean, I guess it is rock, but
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Not necessarily metal as we would consider it.
Right, yeah.
Okay. All
So
right. I gotcha.
the first one I would probably agree with the Beast on the Road tour for Iron Maiden. Obviously, Iron Maiden were commemorating the number of the beast with new singer Bruce Dickinson. They played nearly 200 shows across nearly 20 countries from February to December, with characteristically badass visual accompaniments and a program that acknowledged their first three LPs equally. That alone makes us want to relive that tour. However, the icing on the cake comes from the fact that Iron Maiden opened for Rainbow, Scorpions, and Judas Priest in North America on different legs of the tour. Respectively, those acts were promoting Straight Between the Eyes, Blackout, and Screaming for Vengeance, so the entire run would have been phenomenal to behold. Which I'm not sure how true that is because if I remember right, Bruce Dickinson says that's his bucket list tour is to tour with Judas Priest. So,
Yeah.
uh, so I don't know where they seen that at, but I don't know. Maybe it was a one time deal or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Second one was Diary of a Madman tour, Ozzy Osbourne, UFO, and Starfighters. Loudwire once ranked Ozzy's first two albums, Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman, as his best. Thus, the international journey, which lasted till August, captured the Prince of Darkness at his solo peak. If we could pick specific shows, it would be the January 20th one in Des Moines, Iowa, when Ozzy famously bit a real bat, or Randy Rose's final show in Knoxville, Tennessee on March 18th, which I did not know. Well, I mean, I did know that, but I had forgotten about it, honestly. That Randy Rose actually played in Tennessee last, which was crazy.
I actually did know that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did. I just actually forgotten about it until it just popped up. I was like, oh yeah, that is right. Undoubtedly, it was a particularly historic trek for both good and bad reasons, and with support from the iconic UFO and short-lived Starfighters, there was a lot to love. Like I'm not really familiar with Starfighters, but
No, I'm not either.
the next one was Mob Rules Tour, Black Sabbath, Doc Holliday, Rabbit, The Outlaws, and more. In general, Mob Rules is viewed as a decent Black Sabbath effort at best. However, the fact that it was their last LP with Ronnie James Dio and only LP with Vinny a piece until 1992's Dehumanizer means that the ensuing tour was quite special. It started in November of 81 and concluded at the tail end of August of 82 with about 100 shows spanning 4 legs. In addition to basking in an oversized illuminated cross, spectators heard the exclusive quartet put unique spins on wide-ranging set lists, and periodic appearances from Doc Holliday, Rabbit Moore, and the Outlaws helped epitomize the era. So I'm guessing the name of that band was Moore, which was kind of crazy. I've seen him on a lot of bills.
Yeah. Yeah. And more.
Yeah, that's the old. I guess that's
card subject to change.
Yeah, that's the old card subject. The next one was the singles tour. Rush, Riggs, Crocus, and Rory Gallagher.
Jesus.
Yeah, which Signals had the misfortune of being the studio follow-up to Rush's most popular record, Moving Pictures, so it was typically seen as a boldly synth-heavy but ultimately weaker successor. That said, the associated concerts were stellar, taking place between April of 82 and May of 83. It provided an epic evening of cosmic lighting schemes and numerous classic tunes like 2112 and Tom Sawyer. Um, and Closer to the Heart. Oh, I didn't see it went on. Sorry. While they're clearly the main attraction, backup sets from Riggs, Crocus, and Rory Gallagher, each of whom were influential in their own right, as well as markedly different from Rush, definitely sweetened the deal. And then they got the Who's farewell tour with the Clash and T-Bone Burnett, which I have no idea who T-Bone Burnett is, but
no, neither do I.
Maybe he's a jazz musician that sold his soul to the devil for talent. I don't know, but
that would track. Yeah, that would track.
The Who were several years past their prime by 1982, and their latest album, "It's Hard," was divisive. Nevertheless, its corresponding UK North American tour, which ran from September to December, had to be witnessed simply because it was billed as their last. Expectedly, the original trio, alongside drummer Kenny Jones and keyboardist Tim Gorman, did justice to requisite songs such as Behind Blue Eyes, Love, Reign Over Me, and Pinball Wizard, and of course, Who Are You? Plus occasional pairings with the Clash and T-Bone Burnett, who were promoting combat rock and trapdoor, respectively, generated a superbly varied package. And this one was kind of a wild combination. Cheap Trick, Crocus, and Saxon.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, released in April of '82. Cheap Trick's 1-on-1 signified the addition of bassist John Brandt. Therefore, the chance to watch the new lineup live, as well as witness the unusual team up of Cheap Trick, Crocus, and Saxon, is too tempting to dismiss. All four of the album's singles, Saturday at Midnight, She's Tight, If You Want My Love, and I Want You, joined older hits such as I Want You to Want Me and Surrender. Meanwhile, Crocus were highlighting the solid, if heavily AC/DC inspired, One Vice at a Time, while Saxon were soaring with Denim and Leather. So yeah, it's a kind of a odd matchup, but sorry, I got caught up because I seen where our friends Devil had popped in on here. So
I saw that too.
Yeah, so kind of like caught me off guard there. So,
yeah. Well, welcome.
Good evening,
welcome,
guys. So I know
welcome.
Evening here. So
he's top of the morning to us, and good evening to you guys over there across the Atlantic. There, thanks for
those that can't see the show. It actually says "Top of the Morning Mofos." So
and we would expect nothing less either. So
right. So I actually like, this is one of the joys about doing this show is like you run up creating relationships with people. Like Devil's been a big follower of ours since we've talked, and of course we are them,
and vice versa. Exactly.
And Eyes of the Living is another one that's always in our Facebook pages and stuff. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, and
it's going to be hard to forget you anyway, but we appreciate the reminders.
And Jason, I don't know if you saw it, but I saw that it was either yesterday or the day before last. The guys from Devil, they actually posted a picture of Kevin.
Oh yeah, I did see that. It's almost like a Where's Waldo thing at this point.
Right, I know.
Throw Kevin in the crowd, can find Kevin.
Shit.
We did. Yeah. So I still like talking. Actually, we was talking to somebody yesterday about the show because they were they actually I was not to get off the subject. I'm sorry, but I was in a store and I was getting drinks or whatever, and I was wearing a Motionless in White shirt, and the cashier was just like, "Man, I'll give you a free fountain drink for just because of the shirt." And I'm like, "Oh, there you go." And I was like, "Oh, you're a metal fan?" He's like, "Yeah." So actually, that's actually going to become a thing. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Just dress him up and throw him in something,
Yeah.
but yeah. So he was. So I got to talk to him about the show, and told him about it and whatever. And he was asking me about it, and I said, yeah. And I said we got to where we're actually interviewing a few bands here and there now. And he was asking me who all we interviewed. Of course, I brought up Devil and Force of Rage and all the ones we've interviewed. And he was like, "Oh, cool." And I was telling him kind of what we did. We kind of like focus on the people that we think should be bigger than what they are. So so it's kind of hopefully it winds up being a win-win for all of us. But
oh yeah.
But we were actually talking about the Kevin and Matt Heafy story, so, I was like, it's pretty funny.
I still laugh when I think about the Kevin and Matt Heafy story.
yeah, it's like, dude, like, yeah, everybody else at Ben's like, dude, what the hell? It's like you had this hookup and didn't tell us, like a bedtime classic, yeah. All right, the next one on this tour list here was Ghost in the Machine tour with the Police and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Ghost in the Machine is among Police's most renowned records, so seeing pieces of it done on stage is inherently enticing. That's particularly true since they brought along a professional horn section, the Chops, to replicate the material as authentically as possible. By all accounts, it was a diverse and energetic experience with lots of crowd pleasers. Of course, Message in the Bottle, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, Roxanne, Don't Stand So Close to Me, all their good hits, I guess. But being there for opener, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts at the height of I Love Rock and Roll success made it that much more appealing. I guess to each their own. I wouldn't have not really a big Police fan, so
yeah.
And then they had the Blackout Straight Between the Eyes tours with Scorpions and Rainbow. Now that one I would have definitely been on board with.
Yeah, same.
Okay, we're sure we've already talked about Rainbow on this list, but yet their 1982 tour intersected with enough other standout groups, namely Scorpions, during the summer to warrant another entry. Not only did they perform staples such as Long Live Rock and Roll, Spotlight Kid, and Kill the King, but the stage design included a large pair of mechanical eyes that would shine lights from their pupils. That's got to be cool. As for Scorpions, they were celebrating Blackout, so the title track Can't Live Without You, No One Like You, and Dynamite were played alongside fan faves Coast to Coast and the Zoo. So very, very cool. Then we had the Beat Tour with King Crimson. King Crimson were one of the few original progressive rock groups to adapt effectively to the new decade without explicitly losing integrity. Indeed, mastermind Robert Fripp ended their 7-year hiatus with a drastically different lineup and aesthetic via 1981's Discipline and 1982's Beat. Their newfound inclusions of post-punk, new wave, and world music sharpened the manic energy of vocalist and guitarist Adrian Belew and the rhythmic peculiarities of bassist Tony Levin, who became even stronger on stage. So it'd be wonderful to watch them knock out some newer gems like Elephant Talk and Thila Hun Jinjit, alongside older compositions Red, Lark's Tongues, and Aspect Part 2. So not really been a big King Crimson fan either. So
yeah.
The next one was I don't know, kind of puzzled me why it was on here, but I guess okay, Southern Rock, I guess, I don't know. ZZ Top, Grand Funk Railroad, and 38 Special. So unlike many of their 70s brethren, ZZ Top were still kicking ass when they entered their second full decade, which to me ZZ Top was kicked ass for long after that too. So. Plenty of enthusiasts would argue that 1981's El Loco and 1983's Eliminator are essential releases. Hence, there was a ton of top-tier boogieing done during their sizable 1982 live run, especially in January when they were rocking outside beside Grand Funk Railroad, or September when they were rocking out beside 38 Special. The former act was fresh off their comeback album Grand Funk Lives, and the latter had their highest charting record, Special Forces, to keep audience riveted. So that was their top 10 from 82. I'm pretty sure we could probably come up with our own version of that. So
well, we would definitely be able to come up with like what we would have booked, and
right.
and I always have kind of had a soft spot for like Devil, like talking about Devil. They just mentioned ZZ Top, and thanks to my parents, I've always kind of had like you could say like a soft spot for like bands
Right.
like ZZ Top and
Mhm.
Journey and stuff like that. Bands that aren't, they're obviously not, metal bands, but growing up, my parents, they listened to, rock and roll and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
that's what got me into rock and roll. And ultimately, as I got older, I discovered metal like I did. So,
Mhm.
bands like ZZ Top and Journey were part of my childhood and were like the early development of, leading me into becoming a
Right.
metalhead. So yeah, but I mean, the other two, yeah, like
Yeah.
Grand Funk Railroad and 38 Special. I don't know if I would go that far,
Right.
but yeah. So
Yeah, they're more southern rock. So I mean, it's kind of
yeah.
but they were rock bands. I
Absolutely.
mean, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong,
Hmm.
but there was just not you know to say that it would have been like I said, this is a personal opinion from editors. So
Yeah,
you
and I
know,
mean, and you're
and that's
still
why I like doing these is because I like to compare what we would do compared to what they did. So
right. And I mean, you're talking 80, 82. So
yeah.
obviously that's 40 years back,
And that's
and
before Metallica got big, or
right. So I
any of
mean,
these bands got big. So
yes, I mean, even the bands that even the bands that are on the list that are still around who have literally have cemented their legacy. Iron Maiden, Judas
mhm.
Priest, Ozzy, they were still those bands were literally in their infancy. So no one, especially back then, had any idea what those bands were that were ultimately going to turn into.
Right.
So
I was
even the Scorpions still back in 1982, they were 6-7 years into their career,
oh yeah,
even in 82. So, but at the same time, you read off some of the songs that had already come out, No One Like You, The Zoo, so I
right.
mean, even way back then, those songs that were hits that came out that still, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion anyway, that still hold up even today.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like the Zoo is
Yeah.
like one of my favorite songs from them.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I was just kind of surprised like you didn't see like AC/DC or anybody like that. And that's what kind of like surprised me, I guess, is
Right.
they did mention Ozzy and Black Sabbath, which I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
expecting them to because I mean,
Right.
they had been around long enough to make a case, but
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
AC/DC at this time had been around for several years as well. So
At the same time, even they had been around for a while, but even in 82, I don't think they really hadn't their impact really hadn't made it from Australia to the United States yet. I don't think.
I don't know because
But
like
even but even but even
back in Black was like 1980. So I mean,
yeah, so that is, and I was just going to say that is still kind of strange that they weren't on the list at all. But at the same time, maybe they weren't maybe they weren't part of an entire bill.
gotcha. That was enticing.
So
I guess I don't know.
yeah, so
Yeah,
maybe so.
we're definitely going to do our research and look into that.
Oh,
So
yeah, absolutely. So but yeah, I mean, obviously there were some big names on there who weren't big at the time 40 years ago. Like I say, revisionist history looking back 4 decades later. Obviously,
right,
we know what some of those acts became, of course. So but and like we said before, Metallica's first live performance was in a fucking skating rink.
yeah,
So
with rats.
yeah, so who had any idea? No one had any idea.
What a
40 years and 1.2 billion dollars later.
yeah.
You know. So
Well, I mean, you got to think it's like Metallica came, they came out like even in '82. I don't know. Let's see, I was what 7 years old, maybe. So,
yeah.
I wasn't into music yet. So,
Hmm.
I mean, not personally. Like I wasn't going out of my way trying to find stuff to listen to at that point because I didn't.
Right.
My mind was at other places. I was wanting to play on, ride bicycles or whatever.
Right.
Wasn't focused on music that much
Hmm.
until I was a
Yeah.
teenager. So. Um,
Yeah.
then it got serious, but so I think that maybe why so because like with Metallica you had a generation of people like us that were at that time 15-16-year-old kids and by the time the Black Album came out that were already fans of Metallica from like I said, Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. So
Mm-hmm.
and Injustice for All. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, you already had like that that fan base from that era already,
Right.
and then you start picking up newer like fan bases from other genres of music, because I mean, I remember people that I'd go through like their cassettes when I was riding around in the cars with them, and they'd have like Ice Cube and stuff like that in there, and then you'd see a Metallica CD. So it was kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
people were like jumping genres at that time because of stuff like that, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, I'm not knocking any kind of music, because I do still, if something comes on, it kind of reminds me of the old days. I'll be like, oh hell, like, some old Ice Cube or Two Live Crew or some shit like that. But
Right. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
even
but
I mean,
I don't,
yeah.
rap. We talk about rock being not the way it used to be. Rap is definitely not the way it used to be. So,
No, no, it
so
absolutely is not. Because I mean, there was like, because I mean, I've always been a metalhead, but I mean, there was like a 5 year period where, back in my skating rink days, I worked there for a
yeah,
little, I worked there for a little while, and I was there like every weekend. So I mean, there was like a 4 or 5 year period there where, there were rappers that I would listen to too, whether it be because of work or, but there was like, Bone Thugs and Harmony and 3 6
right.
Mafia, stuff like
Yeah.
West Side Connection, Tupac, and all, some Snoop Dogg and Dre thrown in there too. So I mean, I do have a little bit of, a history with rap music, but I would much rather listen to rap from then
Right.
than now,
Exactly.
without question.
And I think, like, you could probably make a case for kind of being the same thing with the rap genre as what we're talking about now. Is Metallica kind of brought newer people over, and I think Eminem kind of did that same thing with rap. I think he brought a lot of people over from other genres into rap
I think a case could be made. Yeah.
whenever he came out, and I think especially when everybody realized he was actually white, they're like, what the hell, he's white, it's like,
Yeah.
just white guys rapping like that, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, I think it was just more of people. It was people couldn't believe that was the case. It's like, oh, this white guy's
Hmm.
actually out rapping people that invented rap. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talk about that now as far as metal goes. It's like, one of your favorite vocalists of mine is Howard Jones. So, I mean,
Hmm.
you think about that crossed over the other way. So, um, it's amazing of how everybody's kind of gotten involved in different genres of music in it, and it's so diverse now. It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Hmm.
But
Well, I mean,
and
it's, I mean,
you think about, like, when we grew up, we didn't have a lot of bands with females in it
right.
in the metal industry. Now it's kind of like, oh, this female fronted band, you're like, nah, because I
Well,
mean,
yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
because there's a lot of them,
Right. So yeah, but at the same time, you're not talking about meh, like they're them.
right.
It's
It's just
but what you're talking about
it's
is
it's not like a big news story, like,
right. It's not a big deal
yeah,
anymore. I mean,
it's
because
kind of like, oh,
they're
it's kind of, yeah, okay, there's plenty of women, okay.
right. Not trying to say we don't care or
Oh
anything
no,
like
not by
that.
no
But
means, because I've
yeah.
actually heard some good stuff from some all women bands here
Oh,
lately. So
exactly. Yeah. But it's it sounds bad, but it's not an accomplishment anymore.
yes and no, I guess, but
In certain aspects, but I don't, but I, like I say, I don't mean that in a bad way, because
right.
there is so much female talent in metal
Hmm.
anymore. When you see another band come out and there's a female in the band in any form or fashion, because I mean,
Right.
whether it's the vocalist or whether it's a bass player or whatever, you see it and you're like, okay, it's another new band, and you don't focus on the fact that there's a female singer. So I mean,
Right.
not to take that away. So that's not what we're trying to do, but and we've talked about the diversity in metal, as
Well,
far
yeah.
as, as far as not just whether it's a female or whether it may
Mhm.
be someone who is black, or,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Well,
we've talked about the amount of bands that have
mhm.
come out from all over the world. I mean, Source of Rage was from Germany last week. The top 10 list was international bands,
Right.
and then you talk about the Who, talking about, the Who from Mongolia, talking about, Alien Weaponry from New Zealand. I mean, Confess from Iran. I mean, pick a part of the world, there's pretty much a metal band that has come
Right.
from it at this point. So, so again, it's not the fact that we don't recognize the fact that there's somebody from another country, or we don't recognize the fact that there's somebody who, is female or is black or whatever, but it's the fact that you recognize, at this point, you recognize the talent, and you don't focus so much on the ethnicity or the gender, which I think is the most important thing.
And which is like, at this point, it's kind of like, it's almost harder to get out there because you have to be unique now. It's not, oh, well, it's a female friendly band, let's sign them. No, because there's like, I'm a lot of female friendly bands out there.
Yeah.
And it's not, like you said, it's not it's not a wow factor anymore.
Right.
So, it's not necessarily, like you said, we're not negatively saying anything about it because,
Right.
there's nothing negative to say about it. They're talented fucking people,
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of them out there, which, is
Yeah.
crazy. And there's only so many contracts, I'm sure, that can be sent out. So, unfortunately, that's the way the world works. But, and that's one of the reasons why you see a lot of bands self-producing and doing everything themselves. So, because, there's so many out there, you can't get signed. So you got to do things on your own, which, speaking of female-friendly bands,
yeah.
you're gonna give us somebody. I'm sure.
Yeah, what do you got, Devil? Let us know what you got. New arch. I know. New arch enemy. Fuck. Yeah, I know.
I have not listened to it all the way through yet. So.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, and Jason, you know this, I've been an Arch Enemy fan way back.
Oh yeah.
I actually got into Arch Enemy when The Wages of Sin came out, which was Angela Gossow's first album with the band when she took over for Johann Leva. So I've been the Arch Enemy that I have known my entire fandom. They've had a female lead singer. Obviously, Alyssa White is the singer now since Angela Gossow stepped down to take over, the management role. So I'm not really like Arch Enemy to me has always been female fronted, even though they haven't. Their first two albums were with Johann Leva, and no disrespect to him, but that was what I knew. I knew Arch Enemy with a female lead singer, and they've been doing it. Because
that's what made them unique in the beginning.
Right. Because you
didn't hear females do vocals like that.
No. You did not. No, you didn't.
So it was unique, and that's why they got to where they are, is because they were unique, and they, and that's what I'm trying to say is like you're going to have to do something unique in a way that makes people take notice, and it's harder now. Like I give all my hats off to everybody out there that plays right now, because I could not imagine being in that situation when I was 15 trying to play bass guitar. So,
right.
so it's definitely a dog eat dog world out there for it for sure. So,
and we adding on to the fact the ease of access due to the technology now.
True. Yeah, that's true too.
So I mean, like we've talked about before, you and I are just fans that have the ability to put out a podcast now. Would we have been able to do this show like 10 years ago? We wouldn't have been able to do this show 10 years ago. Maybe 20 years ago. No way. 20 years ago, there was no way we would have been able to do this show 20 years ago.
Well, that's what I try to tell people with wrestling. When I started wrestling, YouTube was brand new. So we didn't know how to access YouTube. We didn't know how to put shit on YouTube. We were brand new to it, So it was years, past before we realized that we could upload anything to YouTube. And now, people can record stuff as an audience and throw it on there. So I didn't have that. So it's a lot harder for whereas technology, I guess, has made things a lot harder. Because
it's definitely a double-edged sword for a lot of these new artists. Yes,
because like I said, now it's like back then you had to have somebody say JR or somebody come out to a show and see you and be like, damn, this guy's got talent. Let's talk to him. Now you can just see people on YouTube and be like, oh, well, I'm gonna check out and see what that guy's show is, and then you can go and check them out whenever you want to.
And Devil, you guys actually bring up a good point talking
Yeah.
about when Alyssa came over from the Agonist, because for anybody who hasn't listened to Arch Enemy or the Agonist before, the Agonist, they're a melodic death metal band too, out of Canada. The only difference between, well, not the only difference, I should say, but as far as it's just from a vocalist aspect, the Agonist, they had a different vocal style that they would use with Alyssa White, where she would sing clean in the verses, and then go with the gutturals
Right.
and the choruses, and they would alternate through the songs. And when she came, because Angela Gossow, from the start of her tenure to the end, she never sang one clean vocal for Arch Enemy. So when Angela stepped down and Alyssa came over, she didn't bring any clean vocals with her on the first couple albums, but on the last one, they slowly sprinkled some clean vocals in there. And then on the new album, there's a song where it's predominantly clean vocals with like the gutturals being the complementary vocal style. So it has brought a new wrinkle to Arch Enemy, which I think is nice, because it actually shows off Alyssa White's range, which she was able to do in the Agonist. But you could probably argue that Arch Enemy is bigger than the Agonist. But I mean, so that case could be made, depending, in Canada, maybe not necessarily, because the Agonist is based out of Canada. So,
and then Vicky replaced Alyssa in the Agonist, and I think that's still a good fit for them as well. So
absolutely. So, it was kind of, I kind of equate the new dimension that bringing Alyssa's clean vocals in, the way I do when Devil Driver came out with their last album, and Des Fafara sang clean on Wishing. Because when I heard that song, I was like, holy shit. I mean, I heard Des Fafara sing clean way back with Cold Chamber. So obviously I knew he could do it. But Devil Driver had been nothing but the aggressive, guttural vocals from the start. And then when Wishing came out and I heard him sing clean, that blew my goddamn mind. So
I think this is good for Arch Enemy too, because they're kind of you're kind of doing something different. I mean, you're going to have the people be like, oh man, why should you do that? Because they like, they like the guttural stuff. But then you're going to have a lot more people jump on board because of that, though. Because Whitechapel's a prime example too of their last album, Ken. They actually did a lot more of the melodic stuff than they did guttural. So, and being Tennessee flavor, so we got to give them props. But from doing either one of them. So but yeah, so it's kind of like, I think they have to like reach out to try to do something different, so that way your fans aren't just going, oh hell, it's just another Arch Enemy album,
Exactly. You can stay true to your vision, but then add a little, throw a little something out there that will grab the attention to pull them back. Like, okay, this is different. I like this. That way it's not, like you say, it doesn't become formulaic and borderline, in certain instances, borderline boring. You definitely don't want to run the risk of that, because then people start talking shit about you, like Disturbed. So which we have also done here on the show, and we are also huge fans of Disturbed. But at some point, Disturbed was like, Jesus, do something. So you don't want to fall into that trap either.
Yeah. And I think like you have like I think the thing that I look for a lot when I'm listening to new albums is the diversity of what goes on within the album. If it's just, and I'm actually, we'll talk about that during the album reviews, I'm sure.
Yeah, we will.
Speaking of Devil Driver, you're going to be happy with my review, by the way. But
okay. All right.
So not to give much away, but
exactly. Yeah, you got to hang around. You got to hang around.
Yeah, you got to hang around. Yeah, like a hair and a biscuit, as we say.
That's right.
Man, but and that's another thing. Like we talked about, since Devil is here, we'll talk a little bit about like we compared them a little bit to Avenged Sevenfold when they were on. But the thing is, when you're doing, and we don't mean any disrespect to that,
None.
and they know that. So, but you got to think is how many bands do you know out there that sound like Avenged Sevenfold? There's not. I mean,
There's two.
There's two. Yeah, there's two. Yeah.
There's two.
So I mean, and you think about, okay, so if you got somebody that sounds like, say, oh, this band sounds like, so prime example, I'm going to kind of jump ahead a little bit, but one of the things that I had on my news thing was um, people are still giving vintage shit for being like, for being Slipknot's kids, and I'm just like, dude, at some point, when are we as a society going to like shut the fuck up and just enjoy something without bitching, man? It's like, these kids, yes, they're Slipknot's kids, so they're going to sound like Corey Taylor, and because he's his son. I mean,
Griffin is definitely going to, because he like Corey is also the vocalist. Sean's son. I mean, he could probably evolve to be a little bit more of his own man, because he's not singing. So he has the potential, if he wants to kind of evolve a little bit. And I guess a vocalist can also change the way they sing. But I mean, at the basis of it, Griffin is just gonna sound like Corey just because of the biology.
So this is my thing though, is how we don't know how much more Slipknot has in them. We don't know. They could give up 10 years from now, and then what do we got? We got nothing that sounds like Slipknot. With his son coming in and doing things, then we still have a Slipknot style band that's going to go 20, 30 years past Slipknot.
Yep.
So hopefully.
It was the same thing. That very same point you brought up when you were talking about Chaosium when they came out. Dude is damn near, whether it's intentional or not, dude is damn near a carbon copy of Jonathan Davis vocally. And kind of the same thing when Icon of Sin came out last year. Raphael, you close your eyes. I even fooled a couple of coworkers with one of those songs. Like, hey, check this out. They're like, is that new Iron Maiden? Dude, Raphael sounds so much like Bruce Dickinson. It is fucking scary how much he sounds like Bruce Dickinson. But it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Not at all.
Because we are gonna, because again, Alyssa White, she brought up in a news story, who the hell is gonna be the next generation?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with sounding like somebody. Devil sounds like Avenged Sevenfold. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's a great sound. And the fact that the similarities are there, it's fine. I
think that's the thing though, is the similarities are there, but I wouldn't go as far as saying, oh, well, they're a carbon copy of
no, absolutely not. None of
by no means. There's definitely enough in there different, for Howard era. So
man, that is a loaded question. But if you're making me make a choice, I'm gonna go Howard.
Right. Yeah, just because I think Howard has a more powerful.
He does,
and he can do a little bit more with his vocals than Jesse can. No, not knocking Jesse at all. I love Jesse.
Absolutely not. No disrespect to Jesse at all. Of course not. But given the choice, I would definitely go with Howard, because even now that with Howard being in Light the Torch, and we've said it here on the show before, it boggles my mind that Howard's voice seems to get better the older he has gotten. It is just insane to me. Seems like he's got more range now than he did when he was in Killswitch Engage.
Right.
Which is just astounding because of the way he sang back then. It's like, how the hell does his voice get stronger? But that just seems to be the case.
Yeah, my wife is a big Howard Jones fan, so if she would put earphones in and sleep to that every night if she could, probably. But so that's one of the reasons. Like so it's crazy. It's like we weren't planning on going to another festival this year, but when she found out that Howard was going to be at Blue Ridge with Scion, she says, we got to go. So I mean that made up her decision right there.
Yeah,
it's like Howard Jones was going to be there I think the reason why is because Light the Torch was supposed to be there last year that they canceled.
Yeah.
So I mean it was kind of a and then of course Nonpoint had their issues, and I love 9 Point. I'll say 9 Point 5,000 times. I don't care, but
right.
they're just one of those bands that I think it's like, to me, it's one of those bands where I have seen them on the same tour 2 different times, like the first leg and second leg, I guess, but and the sets were like totally different. It's like so crazy how they just like, we're not going to do but like these 3 songs, and then the rest of it's going to be different. So it's pretty wild to go and watch a show like that. Whereas, I've seen, some bands and be like, well, they played damn near the same shit last time. So
Right.
it's kind of like cool that you have that catalog where you can do that. So,
well, it's actually funny you mentioned that, because, earlier this year we went down to Chattanooga to see the Bass Strikes Back tour, and when, a couple of days after that, I went on one of the set list websites, and I went ahead and I got the set list for all 3 bands, and I put a playlist together, and I posted on Spotify. That way, you could basically relive the concert more or less.
Right.
It was just something fun I decided to do. So, and then coming up here in about a month, we're going to Nashville to see them again.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they're gonna. I'm curious to see what the differences are going to be from the Chattanooga set list to the Nashville set list. So. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I have to hear the Dream Calls for Blood or Blacklist or the Ritual or Electric Crown again, I am not going to complain one bit. But it's just going to be interesting to see how much of a difference this leg is going to be from the last one.
Right. Yeah, that always makes a difference to see.
Yeah.
But like I said, you can't not go see those shows for the price that they are. So
I know, and Kayla and I were actually talking about that on the way up, talking about how we got, the Slipknot show coming up. And I told Kayla, I said, I would go see Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel once a month for $30. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right.
I would go once a month for $30. No, I mean, you're talking about bang for your buck, $10 a band. For bands like that, get the hell out of here.
For Death Angel, Testament, and Exodus.
I know, $30. I mean,
that's $10 a band. Like, that's unheard of.
In 2022, that is damn near unheard of.
But evidently, it was successful. They wouldn't have did a second leg. So
you're damn right. But again, that's why all of us metal fans are so important.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So. All right, we got way off subject there for a minute. So,
you said it was going to be a discussion topic.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it morphed into. So
we'll probably be discussing it again next week when we come up with our own,
our fantasy. Well, I mean, hell, we've talked about fantasy bookings of our own before.
Yeah.
Testament, Warbringer, Havoc, and Heathen. So I mean, it's just
Jesus Christ,
right? somebody make that happen. We're not concert bookers, and I know Testament's out on the road right now, but get Testament, Warbringer, Havoc, and Hatchet on a bill together. Somebody please make this happen. You could call it the Yesterday and Today tour of thrash metal. I don't care what you call it, but I mean, just get those bands on a bill together and let them go around. Let them have a North American leg, and then send them across the pond and let everybody in the UK see them.
That's what was so bad about, like, whenever Testament was going on the road. I remember seeing an interview with Chuck Billy. And I think whoever was interviewing him asked him, said, "Is there New Testament music, on the horizon?" And he says, "Well, we're always writing." He said, "But hell, we're just now touring off of the Titans of Creation tour because of COVID." So it's kind of like, you got these bands like Warbringer still, coming from Weapons of Tomorrow. They're still touring with that because even though the album's 2 years old now, they never got a chance to actually tour for it. Right. So.
And that very thing sucks even worse for like bands like Devil and Sorcerer Rage and stuff like that, because they're over there on the other side of the Atlantic. They're still having to deal with a lot more restrictions. They're having to deal with a lot more of the COVID restrictions than we are. Basically, over here in the United States, I mean, it's it's gotten back to a damn free for all for the most part. But over there in UK and the mainland of Europe, they're still having to deal with restrictions and masks and curfews and stuff like that. So I mean, Devil and Source of Rage and the Defaced, they've got new albums that are out, and they can't. They're having a hard time getting out on the road full time to promote their work, which is very, very unfair. I'll just say it's unfair, really, that they're not able to go out and tour on these albums, because we know from experience how good these albums are, and they're not able to go out and tour on them.
Yeah. Well, so this is my thing. It's like I would love to. Like, I don't follow the news over there as much. Actually, I don't follow news at all, because I think it's all most of it's is bullshit. But
right,
most of it's not news. It's made up stories from whoever's telling you the shit.
Yeah.
but I would love to know, like, if they're not allowed to do things, how many times has Parliament met, or how stuff like that. I'd like to know how they've met in how many times they've met in closed doors with thousands of people or hundreds of people, stuff like that.
Probably the same amount of times that Congress met over here and everything else. All that bullshit. Do as we say, not as we do. I'm sure it's no different over there than it is over here. We're going to tell you what to do, but don't worry about if we do it or not. So it's probably the same shit. Politicians are politicians, no matter where the fuck you are. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but that's But you guys want to talk about politics? There are other shows on the VOP USA.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, so
Politishock and
oh yeah, yes, Politishock is back. By the way, Dan is back, and so is Politishock. So
yeah,
and trust me, that man has not lost. He has not lost a step.
No, he actually had some month worth of build up when he was on the other day. I was like, man,
yeah, you
can tell he's definitely not been on in a while.
Yeah, it was like somebody letting go of a garden hose that was kinked and turned on full blast,
or a balloon. You just fill it up with air and just let it go. So,
yeah, that's pretty accurate too, actually. So.
All right, so I still got one more news story. I don't know how many you got. So
I've got 3, but they're not going to be super duper long.
All right.
Well, speaking of super duper long, did anybody see Tommy Lee's dick?
If not, hang around.
Yeah, because he's hanging around all over the place.
Wow. Hey, what better way to promote something though? It's like the Retaliators thing's coming out. The new video and stuff coming out of that. It's like people don't realize there was a timing thing with this. Okay, so
yeah.
You see Tommy Lee's dick? Yeah, but did you hear that he retaliated or something? There you go, man.
All right. Yeah.
You put one with the other, and there you go.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think Tommy
free
Lee
advertisement.
I don't think Tommy Lee ever does anything accidentally.
No. I think that's what it said. Like when it got hard, it said retaliators on it. So
yeah. Probably. Jesus Christ. No, it probably said retaliators soundtrack from the all news. I mean, it probably had room for
the
all
whole thing. Yeah,
it had room for all that.
It was a billboard. It was a billboard.
Yeah, good God.
A penis billboard.
Oh God, don't give anybody any ideas. Of course, Tommy, you better trademark that shit now while you can. Gene Simmons will beat you to it.
Right. I wonder if he's out there going, yeah, but my tongue's longer.
Oh. Talk about a death battle right there. Tommy Lee's dick versus Gene Simmons' tongue. Jesus.
That might not end up well.
Talk about going off the rails there. Yes.
Yes. So what you got there?
Okay, all right. Going back over to Blabbermouth for a little bit. Striper frontman Michael Sweet recently underwent his third eye surgery after being diagnosed with a detached retina last November. In a new interview with My Global Mind, he stated about the experience, as transcribed by Blabbermouth.net, quote, "When you think of eye surgery, it certainly doesn't seem like anything major, and it certainly won't get the attention of other surgeries, open heart, bypass surgery, brain surgery, all this kind of stuff, which is all terrible. But I'm going to tell you right now that the eye surgeries that I've been through, this is my third one. Gosh, either I'm a big baby or they were terrible. I have really sensitive eyes anyway, and that would be the last thing I would ever want to have to deal with in my life is eye issues regarding surgery. What I had to have done this third time, this was my third surgery, was they put oil in my eye for 6 months to hold my retina in place. And then, and when they put that oil in 6 months ago in January, they had to remove my lens because I developed a cataract. So they took my lens out. So I was dealing with that for 6 months. So I got used to that. Then I had to have the oil removed because if you have it in too long, you develop glaucoma, which can lead to blindness, blah, blah, blah. So it's very complicated. And they removed the oil, flushed the oil out. That was one incision. And then they put a new lens in. That was another incision in my iris. And my eye is pretty beat up right now. And end quote. Michael's medical emergency came months after Striper guitarist Oz Fox underwent the first of his brain surgeries to treat one of the tumors that were found in his head 4 years ago. As a result, Oz sat out some of the band's 2021 tour dates and was temporarily replaced by Howie Simon of Jeff Scott Soto and Graham Bonnet. So yeah, hopefully, having to have gone through all of that, hopefully this will be the last time, he'll have to have that eye worked on. Having not been through it personally, my dad had surgery for, cataracts. So, hopefully that's not something I'll have to deal with in the not too distant future. So, so yeah, doesn't sound fun at all. So,
yeah, I think that's like one of the things that I always hated was anything with my eye or my teeth. It's like anything to do, That's why you go to the dentist. You always dread going to the dentist because you always think, oh, they're going to find something and I might have to wind up doing fillings or whatever. And I just never. I think it's more the feeling of like the numbing medicine. I think for me. Is kind of I don't deal with anxiety, but if it's any like I was talking to my wife about it, and she said, "Yeah, it sounds like anxiety." And I said, "Well, God bless you guys for having to deal with that shit." Because
yeah,
that's it gives that medicine makes me anxious as hell. So,
well, and the funny thing is, like when it's weird that anything that has to do with your teeth, you feel that all over.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, anything that happens with your teeth, you literally feel it all over your body, man. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, I was so not to give out too much information, but I had to have a CT scan yesterday with some dye and stuff, and that was weird as hell. That's the first time I ever had that done. So,
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, so it was like a warm feel, like all the way down to your feet. I'm just like, wow, that's and then you could feel it. It was like filling up a glass or something with water. You could just feel it like going through your body. Like, what the hell? This is weird.
I've had that. I've had that done once.
Yeah, that's yeah. So I mean, it wasn't that bad, but definitely
it is an
was
odd feeling.
Yeah, it was definitely strange.
Yeah.
So it's like I know my wife said the first time that she had to do something like that, she thought she peed herself. She goes, "Damn, did I just pee myself?" She goes, it just gets warm. So
yeah.
So it's all right. My last one is over from Blabbermouth. This is a kind of a follow up to a story we did about a month ago. Last month, Comic-Con International San Diego fans got to see a 25-foot giant Ozzy Osbourne inflatable designed by Todd McFarlane, towering over the convention. The Ozzy inflatable has now embarked on a cross-country promotional tour in support of Ozzy's new album, Patient Number 9, which will be out on September 9th on Epic. The month-long tour will close out in New York the week of the album's release. Some locations will be revealed 24 hours in advance, while others will be surprise appearances. At all stops, fans can win merchandise and pose for photos with Ozzy and the Patient Number 9 ambulance. They'll also have the opportunity to win the 25-foot giant Ozzy Osbourne inflatable.
Oh my Lord.
That would be cool. I'd put that in my yard. I'd leave that in my yard all the time.
Hell yeah.
But the tour kicked off with 3 initial stops in Los Angeles. They began with the appearance at the historic Venice Boardwalk on Saturday, followed with a stop at Smorgasburg LA, the weekly Sunday market at the Row in downtown. And before bidding farewell to the city on Monday, atop East Hollywood boutique hotel bar and recording studio complex Gold Diggers. Ozzy then made a surprise appearance at the Las Vegas Strip on Tuesday before heading to the annual Sturgis motorcycle rally in South Dakota.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. I got a 25-foot Ozzy on a motorcycle.
Nice.
Patient number 9 is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee and Grammy-winning singer and songwriter Ozzy Osbourne's new album, and the first since his critically acclaimed worldwide chart-topping 2020 Ordinary Man release, produced by Andrew Watt, who handled the same duties on Ordinary Man. The new LP marks Ozzy Osbourne's 13th solo album. It's heavy, it's hard-hitting, it's historic, it's everything you'd want from an Ozzy Osbourne record and maybe more. Working with producer Watt for the second time, Ozzy welcomed a dynamic A-list featured guest. The record boasts guitarist Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, Mike McCready of Pearl Jam, and longstanding right-hand man and six-string beast Zakk Wylde, who plays on the majority of the tracks. For the bulk of the album, Chad Smith of Red Hot Chili Peppers held down drums, while the late Taylor Hawkins of Foo Fighters appears on 3 songs. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. I didn't know that either.
Old friend and one-time Ozzy band member Robert Trujillo of Metallica played bass on most of the album's tracks, with Duff McKagan of Guns N' Roses and Chris Chaney of Jane's Addiction supplying bass on a few songs. So it's like a superstar album. Kind of. Ozzy has sold over 100 million records and is one of the handful of artists who has had top 10 albums at least 6 decades. Received induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as co-founder of Black Sabbath, won 3 Grammy Awards, earned the Ivor Novello Award for Lifetime Achievement from the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers, and Authors, set a Guinness Book World Record, and claimed real estate on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and Birmingham's Walk of Stars. He's played for royalty, even the Queen of England, and dignitaries around the world, interacted with Ozzy, with residents, and performed to millions of devoted fans on 5 continents. Earlier this year, Ozzy's Crido Bats NFT launched as one of the biggest celebrity NFT projects ever created. It's currently ranked in the top 100 biggest NFT projects ever and valued at over $40 million. Wow. This past Monday, Ozzy and Black Sabbath guitarist Tony Iommi reunited in their hometown, Birmingham, England, to perform the band's classic song Paranoid, preceded by a truncated version of Iron Man and the closing of the city's Commonwealth Games. They were joined by 2 musicians from the group's final tour, Adam Wakeman, who played bass and keyboards, and drummer Tommy Clufetos. So Ozzy's been staying busy, looks like. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he recovered from that damn surgery a hell of a lot faster than I would have expected. I mean, he's been out and about. So I mean, obviously, if he didn't feel good, he wouldn't be out there. But
right,
you know, so but that's great though to see him back out there. Mm-hmm. You know, kind of holds out hope that hopefully that you know that tour that got postponed like three years in a row. Hopefully that thing will get back on track and maybe we can get a chance to go see him one more time. But I mean, I'm glad that he got the surgery just for him, obviously, you know, but at the same time being a little selfish, you know, you do want to see him back out on the road again, you know, so. Yeah. But at the same time, that's where he said he ultimately wants to get to. He wants to get back on the road just as badly as, you know, we would like to see him back out there. So,
I mean, you know, I'd love to see him one more time at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So apparently, whatever they did, you know, we do have the technology; they can rebuild it. And apparently, they did. So, well.
They'd be buying it before we do it. So.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And speaking of Ozzy and Black Sabbath, back over at Blabbermouth, a group of British politicians are calling for the members of Black Sabbath to be honored for their services to music. A cross-bench section of MPs, members of Parliament, have joined forces with the leader of Birmingham City Council, Ian Ward, and Deputy Leader Council Bridget Jones, not that one, to have written to the Queen asking for her direct intervention, quote unquote. The request comes less than 1 week after Sabbath guitarist Tony Iommi and vocalist Ozzy Osbourne made a surprise appearance together at the Commonwealth Games closing ceremony in Birmingham, which is their original hometown. Khalid Mahmood, Labour MP for Birmingham, Perry Barr, has also started a petition calling for the band to be recognized for their services to music and the city of Birmingham. Quote, for all their global fame, they have kept strong links with Birmingham, demonstrated by their barnstorming surprise performance at the closing ceremony of Commonwealth Games, he said. I appreciate this request is not within the normal procedures of seeking royal honors. However, we feel that this extraordinary occasion deserves extraordinary recognition of this extraordinary group of musicians, the letter continued. We therefore seek direct intervention and support from your majesty to recognize the great contribution made by these fine and groundbreaking musicians who were made in Birmingham and who have once again not just entertained Birmingham, the United Kingdom, and the whole of the Commonwealth, but perhaps the world. There's no perhaps involved there, guy. The original lineup of Sabbath came together in 1969 with Iommi, Osborne, Geezer Butler on bass, and Bill Ward on drums. That lineup recorded and toured through 1978 and periodically reformed through the 90s and 2000s for live work. So, yeah, I'm kind of all on board for that. So, I kind of hope that's something that can that comes to fruition there. So.
All right. You got anything else? Or?
Let's see. Well, I did have. I will read this. Well, never mind. It took me. Well, let's see. Maybe that's an ad. Okay, yeah, here we go. Over at Loudwire, I can read through this real quick. Someone actually made a functioning guitar out of recycled IKEA furniture, and it's slick. Quote, the guitar started out as a joke. YouTuber T Chicks Guitars says he told his wife, I'm going to make a guitar out of Zoe's old bed, and then he did. The idea for this guitar came to the YouTuber while he was making a replica of Ryan May's Red Special, which he says will be his next YouTube video. While working on the Red Special, he started wondering how he could design and build a guitar from scratch using nothing but what's available around me, quote unquote. Everything from the guitar's body to the neck to the knobs are all made out of furniture from IKEA. The neck of the guitar is made out of his daughter's crib, a Stuva cot. The body of the guitar is made out of a Henriksdal chair and the lack shelf, while the fretboard is made of a Malaris picture ledge. The YouTuber made the knobs from a Aptilig chopping board, the jack output plate from a Lelangen door and door handle, and the strap buttons from a Calyx insert knob. The only thing that TS Chicks Guitars bought for his guitar was the pickup. One of the comments on his YouTube video says, quote, they should mass produce these and sell them at IKEA. Absolutely genius, end quote. And then there's a video below showing how he made it. So I just thought that was kind of funny because I know that I don't know how long ago this was, but I remember at one point we reported on a story about how somebody made a guitar out of his father's actual skeleton.
Yeah.
So this isn't quite that is involved, but it still kind of made me laugh anyway. So
yeah, there's been a few stories like that over the year or two.
Yeah,
I've been doing this where somebody would make a guitar out of something crazy. So
yeah,
I think there was a Lego. I think there was a Lego one too. Remember? The
oh,
Lego
I'm sure there is.
All right, I got a couple of I guess news story titles here. Just go over real quick. Nothing to like deep dive into. Just kind of a hey, this is what it is. So
right,
talking about female fronted bands. Earlier, New Year's Day are back with a new music. Hurts Like Hell is out now on all your streaming devices and YouTube, I think. So then that'll be interesting. I kind of want to see where they go from their last album because it was not that impressive to me. But
went a little bit too poppy.
Yeah, just a little bit. So I mean, like there was like maybe 3 or 4 good songs on there, and then the rest of it was kind of like, yeah, I think y'all trying to get on airplay too much here. So
right.
But that's what I hate about like the airplay. It's like why do you want bands to go against what their sound is just to get on the air? It doesn't make sense to me. Like you should just want to play it because they're good. I mean, which is why we wanted to start an internet radio station a long time ago. But which still may be a thing. We just we're working out. Got to work out a timeline for all this
that is definitely still a goal. Absolutely, it's still a goal.
And then Megadeth and Killswitch Engage are already on the bill to headline Bloodstock 2023. And then speaking of Bloodstock, Machine Head actually played a secret set at Bloodstock this year, so they weren't even on the bill and showed up. So there you go. So you never know what you'll see at these things.
I know.
Which kind of got me curious because there's still 2 question marks on Blue Ridge's thing. So kind of.
Oh, even now there's okay.
Yeah, there's still question marks there. So
wow. Okay.
Which if they're in alphabetical order, I would say that one was probably Black Label Society because Anthrax and Hatebreed are already there. So kind of like and it kind
Could
of
be.
fits. The other one, I'm not real sure. So,
Yeah, could be.
so just trying to play detective. That's what I would think with the one. But the other one, I have no idea who it could be.
Yeah.
So it could be anybody. So
Yeah.
uh, so kind of interesting. Interesting to find out what happens there. So, and then going back to people, I was talking about people wanting to quit giving vintage shit for being Slipknot's kids because I think right now they're giving them shit because they're going on tour with Slipknot, which I mean, who wouldn't jump on the damn tour with Slipknot? I mean,
Right. Yeah.
As I said, and my thing is that aren't we supposed to support our kids? I mean, really? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, the way that the thinking is with this by the fans is, Randy Orton shouldn't be wrestling, Peyton Manning shouldn't have played football. I mean,
Right.
we
Yeah.
can go on for days with this.
I
So,
know. I know.
that's
I
like,
know. Yeah.
so,
No entertainment should exist anymore because everybody who created all these things are all dead. So we can't have any more.
yeah, we shouldn't, kids shouldn't be doing it. They should try to find something else to do.
Yeah. I mean, good God, that logic is it's so,
Fucking
the
stupid.
logic is so flawed. It's so flawed.
And then Max Cavalera says there could be an original Soulfly reunion show real soon, so we keep our eyes open for
Ooh,
that. So
there you go.
it'll be interesting. So,
That would.
all right, now I guess we can head over to hitting the road. I don't really have a lot. I got two. I got like three stories here. Not really much about the.
Yeah.
Not really much about the shows in general, but
Yeah. I was actually very surprised. I barely have a second page. So I mean, it was bound to slow down at some point.
yeah.
Especially with the amount of tours we have announced over the past few months. But I was still surprised at how sparse the news was this week. But it's going to happen.
I'll kick it off here. This one
All right.
we were just talking about earlier. 70,000 tons of metal is returning in 2023. The metal cruise will take place from January 30th to February 3rd and will be hosted on board the Freedom of the Seas, sailing from Miami, Florida to Bimini, the Bahamas. The cruise will include 60 bands over 4 stages. 70,000 tons of metal notes that the Freedom of the Seas also includes several bars, a handful of high-end restaurants, and an arcade because, hey, why should the party stop when the bands are done playing, right?
There you go.
Lineup and ticket sales announcements are expected in the near future, so we will keep you guys posted on that, especially since I may have to wind up forking out money to go. But
Yeah.
I guess it's gonna depend on who's on there, though. I guess so.
True.
Next one I have here is the Architects have been planning to return to the concert stage in the U.S. next month, but according to a new statement from the band, that's not going to happen. The band cited logistical issues as a reason for the cancellation. The group was set to perform with We Came as Romans and Like Moth to Flames on the Run. That was set to launch on September 6th in Minneapolis. This actually was a rescheduled run that had been pushed back due to the pandemic when Polyphia and Loathe were set to support the band in the fall of 2021. The shows were in support of the band's standout 2021 release For Those That Wish to Exist. In their statement, the band writes, quote, "It pains us to announce that despite the best efforts of everyone in our band, our crew, and the rest of the team, a number of logistical issues have forced us to cancel our upcoming North American tour. We have been looking forward to playing so many new songs for you, but everything from transportation to visa approval timelines and other hurdles have made the trip impossible at this stage."
Yeah.
End quote. They continue, "We recognize that the last few years have been challenging time for everyone, and we were really excited to perform for you and share moments together that only live music can facilitate. We will announce new plans to return as soon as we can. The last thing we want to do is announce due dates that we will be unable to uphold. Thank you for your understanding. We will be back. In the meantime, refunds for tickets and VIPs will be made automatically to the method of payment used to purchase." So that's unfortunate
Mhm.
they had to do that, but it still shows like the effects of this is still going on even after the fact that we're kind of back up and somewhat running normal,
Mhm.
but it still doesn't uh, deter the fact that bus issues and stuff like I remember seeing somebody posting something a while back about that, saying, "Hey, does anybody know a bus we can a bus service we can use or grab to get us on through this tour?" It's like it's kind of like that point where we talk about nobody wants to work anymore. For one, it's like these people, these places can't get anybody to work for them. It's like I don't understand that. Like I mean, to me, I would hell, let me take a week off. I'll drive y'all's asses around, man. Just at this point, but
yeah,
I'm sure you gotta have a special license for those big buses.
Yeah, so. I'm sure you do. Well, and if you remember, not too long ago, Cold had the same thing happen.
Yeah,
they were gonna go up and down the East Coast, but they couldn't find a bus or a driver.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I don't understand that. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't get it either.
Oh man.
I mean, and you've got those issues on top of the fact that gas prices have been so high for so long. So I mean, you had there were some bands that even postponed or canceled tours because of that. Just because the cost of the transportation. They had transportation lined up, but because it costs so goddamn much to fuel a bus, they had to, it made more sense not to go, and that is a damn shame.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, my contribution to.
I got one more. So.
Oh, do you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So Metallica will play 2022's stateside installment of the Global Citizen Festival, the annual live music event spearheaded by Global Citizen, the organization dedicated to achieving the end of extreme poverty. This year is the 10th anniversary of the Global Citizen. The concert occurs on September 24th in Central Park. And showing their commitment to the cause, the legendary American metal band will light up the city with their sounds. There was other bands in that, but they weren't important enough for me to mention. So, I'm just kidding. There were pop bands and stuff, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm not mentioning that." But
no,
so it's not just a metal show. It's kind of a mix of the who's who of every genre of music there. But we are a metal show, and I'm just only going to talk about Metallica. So.
Yeah. We're like, well, when it comes to other genres of music, we're like that Black Panther meme. We do not do that here.
Right. So. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. For my part of hitting the road, we're dealing with just the PRP.com this week, which again was kind of strange. Let's see. Leading off, we've got Insight going on a September headlining tour. There isn't any. There's no info on any support acts yet, and supposedly this is just the first leg of the tour that's been announced. So that tour is starting September 15th in San Diego, California, at Brick by Brick, and will round out on September 26th in Denver, Colorado, at the Roxy Theater. There is no Nashville date as of yet, so when we hear more about the second leg of the tour, or when the support acts come out, any extra info when it comes out, we'll pass that along, obviously. And then John Petrucci has kind of expanded his solo tour, and Mean Streak is now going to be opening for him. The tour, I know I talked about this once before, so I don't exactly remember all the information I had the first time. So some of these dates may sound familiar, especially the start date, which is October 5th in Providence, Rhode Island at the Strand Ballroom and Theater, which will now end on November 17th in Toronto, Ontario at the Danforth Music Hall. He will be in Nashville on October 20th at the CMA Theater. Then we have the Rival Schools. They are going to be doing a 2023 U.S., European, and UK reunion tour starting May 11th, 2023 in Los Angeles at the Terragram Ballroom, finishing July 8th of 2023 in London at the Electric Ballroom. Let's see. Crown the Empire has dropped off of the Trinity of Terror tour with Black Veil Brides, Motionless in White, and Ice Nine Kills due to rumors of accusations that have been levied against the guitarist and vocalist Brian Hoover. Those accusations, I don't have any details on those as of yet, but apparently a woman has come forward and has made some sort of accusations against him. We'll keep you guys up to date on those as we hear it, but We Came as Romans have been named as the replacement. Shiner is going on a fall tour. Again, no word yet on these support acts. So they are going to be the tour is going to be starting September 29th in Nashville at Dark Matter, and is going to round out on October 7th in Wichita, Kansas at John Barleycorn's. And then they will be going on a separate quick jog with Quicksand starting October 18th in Columbus, Ohio at the A&R Music Hall, finishing October 23rd in Amityville, New York at the Amityville Music Hall. We have Escuela Grind and Test going out in September, starting September 3rd in Salem, Massachusetts at the Old Town Hall. That is going to be Escuela Grind only. And then the tour will finish September 27th in September 27th in New Orleans, Louisiana. Apparently the venue has not been chosen yet because it's still listed as TBA, and that is actually going to be Escuela Grind only too. So Test is going to be on the tour, but for some reason they're not going to be on the first show and they're not going to be on the last show. And that tour also will not be coming through Tennessee at all, Nashville especially. So then Full of Hell, Sanguisugabog, and Jad are going on a European tour in the fall, starting November 15th in Warsaw, Poland at Poglos, finishing November 26th in Bologna, Italy at the DEV Death Fest. And finally, well, I guess you could call finally, considering this is such a short list this week, we have New Year's Day, Hailstorm, and The Warning going out on tour, starting September 21st in Huntsville, Alabama at Mars Music Hall, a venue that Jason and I both know very well. Yeah. Finishing, it's a nice venue too.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, if you get a chance to go see a show there, I definitely would. Finishing October 4th, rather, in Colorado Springs, Colorado at the Pikes Peak Center. And then New Year's Day will be going out on their own starting October 8th in Palmdale, California at Transplants Brewery, finishing October 23rd in Jacksonville, North Carolina at Hooligans. So no Nashville date for either leg of that tour. So such as it is, that is hitting the road for the 8th through, or the 6th rather, through the 12th. So
two legs, no dates.
That's right.
All right, I guess we will circle back to. Yeah, I did say circle back.
I know, I saw it.
But go back to our moments in metal history before we forget, because I will tend to bypass that. And with it being 2 weeks worth, I damn sure don't want to do that. So
right. And the funny thing is even though we've got 2 weeks, I've still only got a little less than 3 pages. So I mean, it's just it's.
It's dwindling down. So
yeah, it's organically just kind of like winding itself down. So
all right, so my contribution to notable moments in metal history this week, August the 1st, 1980, Def Leppard made their U.S. live debut when they appeared at the New York City concert opening for AC/DC. It was also Def Leppard singer Joe Elliott's 21st birthday. Happy birthday, kid! You
yeah,
making what a good birthday present, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
August the 3rd, 1991, Metallica held a playback party to launch their self-titled album in Madison Square Garden in New York City. Kurt Cobain and Chris Novoselic from Nirvana both attended, which was kind of it's kind of crazy to hear that, especially since, the grunge scene kind of gets credit for killing the glam metal scene. But for them to be on bill to watch Metallica is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
August the 3rd, 1987, Def Leppard released their fourth studio album, Hysteria, which became their best-selling album to date, selling over 20 million copies worldwide. The title of the album was thought up by the drummer Rick Allen, relating to his experiences during the time of his car accident and the worldwide media coverage that followed it, which definitely understandable.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of Def Leppard news in this stuff. So just so you guys are aware, August the 5th, 1979, Def Leppard signed to Phonogram Records with an advance of $180,000, giving them a 10% royalty on 100% of sales for the first 2 years. That's I don't know, man. That seems like a pretty decent contract, I guess. So for 1979, yeah. August 6th of 2020, British music producer and sound engineer Martin Birch died at age 71. He became renowned for engineering and producing albums recorded predominantly by British rock bands, including Deep Purple, Rainbow, Fleetwood Mac, Whitesnake, Black Sabbath, and Iron Maiden. So definitely no stranger to the metal community there.
Mm-hmm.
August 6, 2019, members of Korn, Tool, Judas Priest, Linkin Park, and several other bands signed a brief in support of Led Zeppelin, whose years-long copyright case over the opening guitar riff of Stairway to Heaven was set to return to court. In response to the court order, 123 Music Makers filed an amicus brief aiming to elucidate. So I need my glasses. Elucidate the effect of the panel's decisions on all songwriters, composers, musicians, and producers in the United States and around the world. The lawsuit was originally filed in 2014 by the estate of the late Randy California, the singer, guitarist of Spirit, and the composer of Taurus. I thought Randy California was a ping pong player.
Right. That was Randy Daytona.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Close enough.
Yeah.
One side of the beach to the other, I guess.
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson was being sued by a former band member who said he was owed $20 million in shared profits. Stephen Bayer, who played keyboards under the stage name Madonna Wayne Gacy, claimed that he was not paid properly over a period of almost 2 decades. In legal papers filed in Los Angeles, Bayer claimed Manson falsely told him the band was not making much money and used band money to buy a $2 million home and collect Nazi memorabilia, including coat hangers used by Adolf Hitler. Wow, that's we all know that dude's weird any fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But damn, man, like really though, you're gonna spend a decade in a band and not get paid, like right? I mean, that don't make sense to me. Like,
no.
Like, dude, you got after the first couple of times you told me that, man, I'm beating your ass or something.
Yeah.
So something's going down.
And hell, I don't know about you. I go to HR the second I notice my paycheck's not right.
Right? Yeah. I'm like, hey man, what the fuck?
Yeah.
August the 6th, 1988, Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses' debut album, went to number 1 in the U.S. after spending 57 weeks on the chart and selling over 5 million copies. Singles from the album, of course, Sweet Child of Mine, Welcome to the Jungle, and Paradise City were all U.S. top 10 hits. Worldwide sales now stand at excess of 28 million, and the album is the best-selling debut album of all time in the U.S., beating Boston's debut album, Boston, which had gone 17 times platinum. Wow. August the 8th, 1992, a riot broke out during a Guns N' Roses and Metallica gig at Montreal Stadium when Metallica's show was cut short after singer James Hetfield was injured by pyrotechnics. I thought you had a story about that. You didn't read it, did you?
I didn't. I'm gonna because that's obviously it's not time sensitive. I'm gonna move it to next week. So yes.
Okay. So Guns N' Roses took the stage, but frontman Axl Rose claimed that his throat hurt, causing the band to leave the stage early. The cancellation led to a riot by the audience, who overturned cars, smashed windows, looted local stores, and set fires. Which, people that want to riot need to learn like who to riot against. The stores and the shit didn't do shit to you, dude.
Right, I know.
Go out there and burn their fucking tour bus or something. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the moral of the story is directed at where it's supposed to be directed.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're gonna go loot a store that was closed on the night of the concert. That
it's like,
I mean,
bullshit.
But I mean that just goes for the same thing goes for the the sports idiots too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, your team lost. Let's go break into a grocery store.
Hell! When the Eagles won the Super Bowl when they were burning shit. Like,
I know.
It's like what the fuck?
Yeah. So it doesn't even. So yeah, you're right. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a loss, but still, I mean,
I'm kind of scared. Maybe that's why the Predators don't win the fucking Stanley Cup. Oh man, they didn't want to tear Nashville up. August the 9th, 1980, AC/DC scored their first UK number 1 album with Back in Black. It was the first AC/DC album recorded without former lead singer Bon Scott, who died February 19th, 1980 at the age of 33, and was dedicated to him. The album has sold an estimated 49 million copies worldwide to date, making it the second highest selling album of all time and the best selling hard rock or heavy metal album, as well as the best selling album ever released by a band, which, that was in 1980, obviously. Not the case anymore. August the 12th, 2009, guitarist Les Paul died in a hospital in White Plains, New York, at the age of 94, suffering from severe pneumonia. Paul is credited with developing one of the first solid body electric guitars, which went on sale in 1952 and contributed to the birth of rock. He also developed other influential recording innovations, such as the multi-track recording and overdubbing. And of course, they still make guitars in his name. So,
oh yeah, they do. Rightfully so.
Oh yeah. And then last but not least, August 12th, 1972, Alice Cooper was at number one in the UK singles charts with Schools Out. This one was kind of like surprising to me. It was the band's only UK number one, which was also a number 7 hit in the US. Cooper has said that he was inspired to write the song when answering the question, "What's the greatest 3 minutes of your life?" Cooper said there's 2 times during the year. One is Christmas morning, and the next one is the last 3 minutes of the last day of school. So,
so yeah, which I think we all I think we can all remember those last 3 minutes of the last day of school. I think we all remember those. Yeah, he's not wrong.
No, he's not. Yeah.
Definitely not wrong.
Everybody looking at the clock. Come on.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But then you always had that one teacher's like, I'm teaching all the way to the end. You're like, fuck you. It's June.
Yeah. Right? This is the end, motherfucker.
Yeah. It's like, no, we're done. You're done.
Yeah. We're done. You're done. What are you going to do about it? It's the end of school.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's always one teacher that would try, I'm not done yet. Yes, you are. Yeah, you are.
Yes, you are now. The bell rang, dude. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
Your time is up.
Yeah.
You don't leave biscuits in after the bell goes off. So
right.
Just saying.
Yeah. All right. So for the this day in metal, or this week in metal history, rather, I'm sorry, brought to you guys as always by This Day in Metal and Dr. Feelgood and Miss Hyde on Twitter and Facebook, respectively, for the 31st of July, all the way up to today's date. Leading off with one holdover, we've got July 30th, 2002. Def Leppard releases their 8th studio album, X, which peaked at number 11 on the Billboard 200. Then moving ahead to the 31st, July 31st, 2006, Marty Friedman releases his 6th studio album, Loudspeaker. July 31st, 2021, Dee Snider releases his 5th solo studio album, Leave a Scar. July 31st, 2007, Devil Driver releases their 3rd studio album, The Last Kind Words, which debuted at number 48 on the Billboard 200, and Five Finger Death Punch releases their debut studio album, The Way of the Fist, which peaked at number 107 on the Billboard 200. Moving into August 1st, 1984, Lion's Pride releases their debut album, Breaking Out, and Boss releases their debut album, Step on It. August 1st, 1988, Heretic releases their debut album, Breaking Point. August 1st, 2014, Elevaity releases their 6th studio album, Origins. Ailstorm releases their 4th studio album, Sunset on the Golden Age, and Unisonic releases their 2nd studio album, Light of Dawn. August 1st, 2006, Stone Sour releases their 2nd studio album, Come Whatever May, which debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200. Moving ahead, August 2nd, 2013, Rage releases their 21st studio album, LMO. August 2nd, 2019, Volbeat releases their 7th studio album, Rewind, Replay, Rebound. August 2nd, 1986, Cinderella releases their debut studio album, Night Songs, which peaked at number 3 on the Billboard 200, and Vinnie Vincent Invasion releases their self-titled debut studio album. August 2nd, 1984, Black and Blue releases their self-titled debut studio album. Moving ahead, August 3rd, 2012, Korpiklani releases their 8th studio album, Manala. August 3rd, 2004, House of Lords released their 4th studio album, The Power and the Myth. Moving ahead, August 4th, 2017, Marty Friedman releases his 12th solo studio album, Wall of Sound. Moving ahead again, August 5th, 2016, Tarja releases her 6th studio album, The Shadow Self. For those of you who don't know, that's Tarja Turunen, formerly of Nightwish. And August 5th, 2014, Godsmack releases their 6th studio album, 1000 Horsepower, which debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200. Moving ahead, August 6th, 2013, Newstead releases their debut studio album, Heavy Metal Music. And August 6th, 2012, Cobra and the Lotus releases their 2nd studio album, which was a self-titled album. Skipping ahead a couple of days, we're moving ahead to the 9th, August 9th, 1984, Hammer's Rule releases their debut album, Show No Mercy. August 9th, 1985, Stress releases Flor Atomica, and Artillery releases their debut studio album, Fear of Tomorrow. August 9th, 2000, Dark Age releases Insurrection. August 9th, 2005, Chimera releases a self-titled album. August 9th, 2006, Insomnium releases Above a Weeping World. August 9th, 2019, Slipknot releases We Are Not Your Kind, which debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. August 9th, 1999, Behemoth releases their 4th studio album, Satanica. August 9th, 1988, Europe releases their 4th studio album, Out of This World, which peaked at number 9 on the Billboard 200. And August 9th, 1993, Lillian Axe releases their 4th studio album, Psychoschizophrenia. Moving ahead to the 10th, August 10th, 1999, TNT releases their 7th studio album, Transistor. August 10th, 2018, Enough Enough releases their 14th studio album, Diamond Boy. I know, enough's enough, right? And then August 10th, 2004, Alter Bridge releases their debut studio album, One Day Remains. Moving ahead to a couple of days, August 12th, 2003, Firehouse releases their 7th studio album, Primetime. And last but not least, August 12th, 2008, Extreme releases their 5th studio album, Saudades de Rock. And I don't have anything yet for today's date, August 13th. So if and when something comes across for the 13th, that will be the leadoff for next week's segment. So that is the This Week in Metal History for the last 2 weeks. So there we are. You're on mute still, bud. There you are.
Anyway, I think it was amazing that you said Enough's Enough's 14th album when we were just talking about Ozzy only having 13 solo albums.
I know.
What? It's like, what?
I know.
Oh, man.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is like, just like Metallica, they, I don't remember, they're not that high in albums either. But of course, they don't have to be because, they're still making tons of money off the Black Album. So,
right.
So I guess when you're in that situation, you don't have to make a bunch of albums, but unless you just love making music like Rage,
Yeah, they're up to like 24 or 25, something like that. Yeah, they're up there in the mid-20s.
All right, so I guess we will go into our top 10, which wound up being a 15 for me. I don't know about you, but
18.
18. So, yeah, so I kind of knew it was going to be like that, but I kind of didn't figure we would have a lot of overlap with songs, mainly because this was kind of a free for all as far as song picking.
Pretty much,
because we're focusing more on the bands. So hopefully, I mean, maybe we have. I don't know. We'll see. I guess, but
yeah, we will have to see.
But
this one, like you said, this one was an easy one. Last week,
of
course, last week's was too. Last week, in honor of our, our
we had to put on the brakes last week too. So
yeah, we did. I actually I decided to just stop where I stopped. But last week, in honor of our new friends from Germany, we decided to go ahead and do international bands last week, and Germany kind of dominated the list. Whereas this week we decided to go ahead and just bring it back over here to our side of the Atlantic and just focus on American bands, which, as we all know, there's a shit ton of those. Yeah. So
that's what we were talking about. I think we could have just done California first and kind of went from there. But but it is what it is. Like. But I guess my top American metal bands here. I actually put out the city they're from too. I don't know if you did that as well, but
I didn't do the city necessarily, but I definitely put the state.
Okay, well, I mean, whichever way.
Yeah.
Of course, I led off with Metallica, of course, and so my thing was I tried to take songs that normally we don't put on lists, I guess. So that way we kind of got a little bit of diversity and it's not too repetitive.
Right.
So I actually went with Battery on this one from Master of Puppets 1986. And of course, we know Metallica's from San Francisco. So the San Francisco treat, San Francisco metal treat, I guess. Yeah. Then, of course, like I said, one of my favorite bands, Nonpoint. Then one I picked for this one was Dodge Your Destiny from the album 10 in 2018. And, of course, Nonpoint is from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Then I took Pantera, Fucking Hostile from Vulgar Display of Power 1992 from Arlington, Texas, of course. probably one of the reasons I love them, because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan as well. So then took Warbringer, Remain Violent from Woe to the Vanquished 2017, and of course they are from Los Angeles as well. So a lot. I mean, I tried to like spread it around too, so I didn't like stick in California too much, because
Right.
I mean, let's face it, we could have went, Metallica, Testament, Exodus, we could have went,
Right. Yep.
we could have went down the list just like that. But
Yep. Sure enough.
I tried to stay out of California, but like I said,
Well,
ain't much you can do when some of the biggest bands are from there. So
that was like I said, it was the same issue we had with international bands. I mean, a lot of them just happened to come from Germany.
Yeah. All right, my next one was Kill Switch Engage, My Curse from As Daylight Dies 2006. And of course, they're from Westfield, Massachusetts. Then I went with, I don't know if you could tell from the shirt I'm wearing, but it went with Ice Nine Kills, The American Nightmare from The Silver Screen 2018. And of course, they are from Boston, Massachusetts. So a little Massachusetts love in here too. So. Of course, we could have went with that one too, probably with Godsmack and all these other bands from that area. So,
yep.
All right, my next one was Megadeth, and I picked Sweating Bullets for this one from Countdown to Extinction 1992, and of course they are from LA as well. Then I got Motionless in White, Voices from the Graveyard Shift in 2017, and they are from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Then I put Five Finger Death Punch, Champagne from And Justice for None from 2018. And of course, they are from Las Vegas. Then, of course, put Slipknot in there and I chose The Devil and I from the Gray Chapter 2014. Of course, we know they are from Des Moines, Iowa. So
yes, they are.
Yeah, they may be the only band I know of from Iowa. So,
I don't know of another one off the top of my head.
And then I got Machine Head, took The Blood, the Sweat, the Tears from the Burning Red 1999. Of course, they're from Oakland, California. They're from the rough side of California.
Yeah, they are.
Then I took Testament, the Electric Crown from the Ritual 1992. Of course, they're from Berkeley, California. So you went from the hood side to the rich side, I guess. There.
Yeah.
Then I put Lamb of God, took Redneck from Sacrament 2006. Of course, they are from Richmond, Virginia. Then I took Trivium, and I picked Strife because I don't know if we've ever put that song on a playlist. So, that was from Vengeance Falls in 2013. And of course, they are from Orlando, Florida.
Yep.
And then last but not least, I had to get as much of the big four in as possible. So I chose Anthrax, and I picked the Monster at the End from For All Kings in 2017, and of course they are from New York, New York. So.
Did get some, yeah. So there was some Northeast in there,
Yeah,
Boston,
I tried to.
Yeah.
I could have put, I could have included some Tennessee bands in there too. I'm sure Whitechapel. I mean, but
yeah. All right. Well, yeah. My top 18, basically. I did the same thing as you. I led off with Metallica, and you already know what my favorite song of all time is. I mean, you already know. So I led off with the Unforgiven by Metallica from the Black Album 1991. They are from California, of course. Then I went with Trust by Megadeth off of Cryptic Writings from 1997, also from California, which I know may seem a little ironic, of all of the more some of the more iconic songs that Megadeth has, but and a lot of people talk about how Cryptic Writings wasn't even one of their better albums, but just for some reason Trust has always been a song that I've really, really enjoyed. So I went with that one this go around, basically for the same reasons as you, Sweating Bullets and
right.
Hangar 18 and Countdown to Extinction. Try not to be repetitive so much. So I decided to go with that one this go around. And then I went with Seasons in the Abyss by Slayer, album of the same name from 1990. Excuse me, from California. Then I went with Madhouse by Anthrax off of Spreading the Disease from 1985, all from New York. So I went ahead and knocked out the big four right away.
Yeah.
Decided to do that. And then I couldn't avoid the repetition on this one just because of what song it is. I went with Walk by Pantera off of Vulgar Display of Power from 1992. Because I mean, you could say that you could make a case that it's probably Pantera's most popular song, and I think that argument could be made, and probably you could also make a case for Walk being like the epitome of what just like a heavy metal song could be. Just the riff, the fucking pissed off nature of the songs. I mean, it just the whole song just basically just screams heavy metal. So.
I mean, if you got to put a song on a playlist every week, then why not Walk? Right.
Right. Again, I was like, obviously Pantera is going to be on the list, but should I go with Walk again? And I was like, yes, I should go with. So I talked myself into it, basically. Just yes, go with that song again. You can't go wrong. Yes, Vulgar Display of Power, 1992, from Texas. Then I went with the Toxic Waltz by Exodus off of Fabulous Disaster from 1989, and once again they are from California. Then I went with Halo by Machine Head off the Blackening from 2007, again from California. Then I went with Left Behind by Slipknot off of Iowa, 2001. They are from Iowa. Then I also went with Strife from Trivium off of Vengeance Falls. So we had two overlaps. I had Strife by Trivium off of Vengeance Falls from 2013, and then the other one was Electric Crown by Testament off of The Ritual.
We could pick two different songs from there.
Yeah, we could definitely do that because actually, when it came to Testament, I was like, should I go with an older one?
That was what I was doing too. I actually wanted to put something from Titans of Creation on there. And
I was going back and forth between Electric Crown and Dream Deceiver. So I'll probably just go ahead and switch over to Dream Deceiver. Like I say, not like you could go wrong between The Ritual and Titans of Creation. I mean, you talk about the quality of the album. The same thing with Strife. I was like, should I go with Strife or I was going to go with Catastrophist? So I mean, we can switch those up. I'll go ahead and make those two changes, and I will be just fine with those. So I'm not going to argue either way.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a playlist.
It's going to be a great playlist. Actually, I'm loving the way this thing is shaping up. So down to my quote unquote honorable mentions, definitely not trying to take anything away from these songs. I went with Still I Rise by Shadows Fall off of Retribution from 2009. They are from Massachusetts. Then I went with The End of Heartache by Killswitch Engage off the album of the same name from 2004, also from Massachusetts. Then I went with The Dream Calls for Blood by Death Angel, again off the album of the same name from 2013. They are also from California. Then again, I know I've put this song on the list before, but I like the song so much, went ahead and went with it again. I went with Clouds Over California by Devil Driver off of The Last Kind Words from 2007, also from California. Then I went with Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold off of the album of the same name. Title tracks are just good most of the time.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't help it.
Well, we did that playlist a while back.
So, I know we did.
So that's if you haven't listened to that one, you can go back and go on Spotify and just look up Metalheads Unite, and there's a bunch of playlists there. So.
Yep. Again, if you guys do want to do that, we have top 10 playlists off of the show. Jason has top 10. Jason, not even top 10 lists. Jason has weekly playlists that he compiles. So there's, hell, I don't even know how many playlists we've put together at this point. I mean, 50, 60. Yeah. So, I mean, there's literally no shortage of playlists that you guys can check out. If you guys go to Spotify, all you got to do is look for the little icon in the upper right-hand corner. It's the same thumbnail we use here. It's the same thumbnail we use at Spotify. It's the same thumbnail we use over at on Facebook for the private group that we've got for the show. So you want to look for Metalheads Unite. All you got to do is look for this picture, which is an original Jason Tucker photograph so that he took at one of the Steel Panther shows that he and I attended. So, if you see that picture, you know that it's us because Jason took that picture at a concert. So that's us. Find us on Facebook, find us on Spotify if you want to listen to one of the very, very many playlists that we got put together. Let's see. I'm down to my last three. I went with Stricken by Disturbed off of 10,000 Fists from 2005. They are from Illinois. Then I went with Roots by In This Moment off of Ritual from 2017. They are from California. And then last and by far certainly not least, I went with Scumbag in Disguise from Havoc off of Time Is Up from 2011, and they are from Colorado. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a great playlist.
Yeah. Which I will get compiled and over to Jason so we can get the collaboration done, and we will get that playlist posted over at the Facebook group for all of the members over there, which we are thankfully finally over 400.
Yeah.
We want to thank you guys for that. And we'll get that put together, and I'll get the 24-hour collaboration link posted for anybody who wants to add on to this one. And for all you guys who are not members of the Facebook group, like I said, if you want to listen to the playlist, just look for our little thumbnail on Spotify. You can find it there.
Yeah, and then just to put the two playlists from last week in the comment section there. So the first one was from the international flavor from last week's top 10, and then the second one was this week's playlist. So
okay, so that's the first one. Which one was the first one?
That was the international.
Okay. All right.
Top 10 last week. So
yeah, so that link right there, if you guys want to copy and paste that one, that was for the top 10 list from last week. I'll leave that up there for a few minutes, and then I'll throw the link up there for the weekly playlist that Jason compiled. So
yeah, and then, too, and I want to reiterate the playlist that I put together every week does consist of some of the newer singles from the albums that are about to come out. So so that kind of gives you can kind of give you an idea of what you may like or may not like as far as what's coming out. Yes, it's not every song's not on there because honestly, some of the songs aren't metal that they put on there. So and then some of it's I don't mind putting death metal on there. I just don't want to overload it when they have like eight of the 30 albums that come out are all death metal. Then I don't want to overload it with a bunch of death metal. Right. But nevertheless, so if you want to check out some new tunes, it's definitely on that playlist. So
which this is the link that is up on the screen right now for that one.
So it usually includes the bands that we do album reviews on as well. So, which we are about to get into like right now.
Segues for days.
Yep, segues for days. So, I actually got two in this week. So
nice.
It was good. So the first one that I listened to this week was the Halo Effect band's name. The album was called Days of the Lost. So the Halo Effect was founded by 5 former members of the Swedish metal band In Flames. So Jester Stromblad. So Jester Stromblad was a founding member of In Flames in 1990, and in 93, Mikael Stane, who founded the band Dark Tranquility and remains its sole founding member today, worked as a session vocalist on In Flames' demo tape and debut album. Then we had Nicholas Ingelin and Peter Hours joined In Flames in 97. And I know I'm killing these names and I apologize, but and then Daniel Svensson joined In Flames in 98 after Nicholas Ingelin quit. Subsequently, Stromblad, Iwers, and Svensson played together in Flames for over 10 years by the time Stromblad had quit the band in 2010. So definitely some familiarity there between the members. So currently, the Nicholas Ingelin is the lead guitarist. Peter Iwers is bass. Mikael Stane is lead vocals. Jesper Stromblad rhythm guitar, and Daniel Svensson on drums. So this is the band's debut album, even though they've been, kind of off and on together for years in another band. So 10 songs, 40 minutes, 46 seconds. You can definitely can hear some of the In Flames vibes in there, but I honestly got more of a Devil Driver sound from what I was hearing. So
oh,
so
nice.
yeah, so I definitely could have compared them more to Devil Driver than In Flames, but definitely could hear the influence from both bands in there. So and actually with this one was kind of surprising because the vocals were kind of diverse in here. You'll get some of the raspy high gutturals, and then you get some nice cleans that actually pleasantly surprised me. Honestly, I was, first couple songs were the raspy gutturals, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of like Dez and everything. But yeah, so it was kind of like that, and then you hear a ballady type, not really a ballady type, but it's a slower and then clean vocals, and you're like, wow, that's kind of caught me off guard there. But and so some really good guitar solos in there. You can really tell there's chemistry still there, from the the band members playing together for 10 years. I actually loved everything about this album, so this is definitely going to be a 4.5 horn for me this week. So
Nice.
so definitely check out the Halo Effect. If you're an In Flames or Devil Driver fan, you'll definitely enjoy that one, I believe. So
Very nice.
and then I listened to the Hellfire, the Reckoning.
I figured you would. Yeah.
So
I have yet to.
yeah, so Hellfire was formed in 2010 in San Francisco, California. Their current members are Jake Nunn, vocals and guitars, Tony Kapos, guitars, Mike Smith, drums, and Kai Sun on bass, which seemed like that's a new member, just like they just joined on in 2021. The rest of the band was kind of on stage when I seen them, I guess. So, but so this is the band's fourth full-length album, 11 songs, 45 minutes, 1 second. I don't know what else you would kind of expect from a thrash speed metal band from California besides just getting your face melted off. But
Nice.
I will say this: I think Tony Campos is an underrated guitar player. That dude can seriously shred. I mean, the very first song on that I was just like, wow, this dude's fucking going off, dude. Like, so it was pretty wild. And I believe Jake Nunn has the perfect voice for a thrash speed metal. So he definitely kind of can change it up, like with the speed and thrash. So, and I like how they kind of keep an old school kind of Bay Area sound to the band too. It's kind of refreshing to still hear the old school sound. Still going today. So. There was a ballad track on there called Dying Moon, and it kind of reminded me of another song too, and I just can't place it. So if you listen to that, try to listen to that track and then let me know.
Okay.
Let me know what you think, because I'm still trying to think about it. I'm just like, dude, reminds me of a fucking song. I can't think of it.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
I do plan on listening to that. Yeah.
it was a very, very well done though. The ballady was really, really good. So so overall, I'm gonna give this one 4 horns. Like I said, it was pretty good from start to finish on that one too as well. So
Nice.
pretty good albums this week. So
Yeah.
I'm still gonna try to catch a couple more because we're going car shopping later. So
Oh, okay.
so I'll have plenty of time on the road to try to listen to something else, I guess. But
Yeah. And you'll have to take the edge off of the actual car shopping experience, which always sucks.
yeah,
I hate car shopping so much.
Well, the thing is like when we got the money to do it, so something we're not going to rush into anything. I'm just going to take my time. I mean, my car's fine, so I'm not going to we just wanted something newer with less miles because
yeah.
my
Well,
my,
see,
my,
and
old,
it's
my old my old Kia hit 310,000. So
yeah. And it's actually good to be in that position to where you don't have to feel pressure to buy something, because then when the right car comes along, you'll know it. So
right. It's not like an insurance check where they're like, all right, well, your car's totaled. Here's your check. Take your rental car back, and then you're like, all right, fuck, I gotta go buy something like now.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So it is nice to not have to be in a hurry and rush. So
yeah. So that'll be good. All right. So before I do my album review, I want to say this directly to you, Jason. I promise you, I tried. I had told you I told you the album that I was going to review.
You didn't kind of explain anything to me, so I already knew you weren't going to listen to that.
Yeah. So okay. So all right. So you know where I'm going with this, and Kayla's downstairs. So I mean, if I needed to, I could have gotten her to back me up on this. So I was going to listen to what the hell was the? I was going to listen to the album. What the hell was? I can't even remember the name of the. Oh, Hydra. Hydra was the name of the band, and Point Break was the name of the album. So I will admit that I was, when I looked the album up on Spotify, when I saw the cover, I was like, oh man, this doesn't bode well. So and when we first started, Kayla and I, we were listening to it in the car while we were driving around down here, or up here rather. And I will be honest, when the first track came on, we were laughing. We thought it was funny. Mm-hmm. We got to the third track and I looked at Kayla. I said, I can't listen to this anymore. She went, thank God. So we got 3 tracks in, and I was like, you know what? I can't. I said it was funny at first. I said I can't do this anymore. I said I can't listen to this anymore. This is the first instance of an album since we've switched over to Heavy Music HQ that I was like, how the hell did this album get on the list?
Right.
So this one, I'm not gonna give it a rating because it's not in the genre.
Exactly.
So I'm not gonna do that.
I was going to warn you, and I forgot. So
yeah. So what I will say is, like, the 3 tracks that we listened to, basically it was a generic soundtrack to a 1980s movie. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay. So
pretty dead on there. So.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what it sounded like to me. So I was like, no. So like I said, at first it was hilarious. At first it was funny, but it got really, really old really quick. And I was like, no, I can't. So what I did was, considering that, like I say, I've been up here in Michigan, I've been dealing with, the death in the family and trying to, take care of that up here and trying to visit. So I haven't really had time to sit down. I went ahead and I went with the new Arch Enemy album. So, so since it did get pushed back to, yesterday, and, as, the world kind of had everything lined up the way, I was up here. And so I went ahead, and just because I already know everything, the amount of stuff I already know about the band,
right,
and not being able to really have time to just kind of literally just sit down and listen to an album. We were listening to it as we were driving around from place to place to place. Mm-hmm. So I did get all the way through it. So I listened to the new album Deceivers by Arch Enemy, which is also ironic that the fact that the guys in Devil brought it up.
Right.
Like, yeah. So they brought it up, and I was like, oh shit, this is the album that I'm reviewing later. So shout out to Devil for bringing it up. But this is I almost said Devil Driver. This is Arch Enemy's 12th studio album. They are a melodic death metal band that was formed in Halmstad, Sweden back in 1995. The current lineup consists of Michael Amat on guitar, Daniel Erlinson on drums, Charlie D'Angelo on bass, Jeff Loomis, yes, that Jeff Loomis, on guitar, and Alyssa White Glutes on vocals, which I will admit, I'm still not 100% sure how she pronounces that last part. Is it glutes or glues, or I don't know. I have no idea. So I feel bad because I feel like I'm mispronouncing it. But Alyssa White is formerly of the Agonist, and so
sorry, I got a visitor. Sorry.
A little 2-year-old visitor. Yeah, there she is.
Hey, you want to say, look, tell everybody hi. Look, hey, look, tell everybody. Wave at them. Say hey. Say hey. She ain't even paying attention. She's over here. She just wants to draw on something. So
that's hilarious. She's got so much hair now. God,
I know. Yes.
Yeah. There she is. So the Arch Enemy's lyrical themes include inner struggles, humanity, anti-religion, rebellion, and society. So all the happy stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is their 12th studio album. Their debut album, Black Earth, came out in 1996. Stigmata in 1998 and Burning Bridges in 1999. Those are the three studio albums that Johan Leva was the lead vocalist on, and then Angela Gassau came in 2000 and was the lead singer for Wages of Sin in 2001, Anthems of Rebellion in 2003, Doomsday Machine in 2005, Rise of the Tyrant in 2007, The Root of All Evil in 2009, Chaos Legions in 2011. Then she stepped down to become the band's manager, at which point Alyssa White showed up for War Eternal in 2014, Will to Power in 2017, and Deceivers that came out yesterday. The new album is 11 tracks long, 45 minutes and 5 seconds, so it's a relatively quick listen, especially if you're a fan like I am. There is one track number 9, Morning Star, is a 1 minute and 36 second musical interlude, so it's not too bad. It's not at the beginning of the album, which we've kind of talked about before. Is a little bit of a hit and miss with us, but it kind of blended the two songs together, track number 8 and track number 10. But just like the guys in Devil were talking about, man, this album is great from beginning to end. Track number 1, Handshake. Track number 1, Handshake with Hell. I mean, this song is just blistering from the word go. But what I like about it is, as we alluded to earlier when we were talking with Devil about it, this track features for the first time that especially since Alyssa White's been with the band, but the first time really ever, as far as Arch Enemy is concerned, really is the first track that has the predominantly clean vocals in it, where she's clean through the verses, heavier in the chorus. But I mean, from start to finish, that's her clean vocals are a little bit more sporadic throughout the album, but this one is the one track that's predominantly the clean vocals. But all the way throughout the album, I mean, the guitar, Michael Amott. Oh gosh, she is so adorable. But Michael Amott, for my money, is one of the more underrated guitar players in heavy metal, and he is so talented. And when you have him and Jeff Loomis together, when they're both taking turns, you got the dueling guitar solos that they put together. Their guitar work is mind blowing,
right?
And that definitely is the case here. In the Eye of the Storm, Deceiver, were two of the singles that came out ahead of time.
Right.
So you heard those two songs come out ahead of time. So
they released like 4 tracks or something before. Yeah, so it was like crazy to release that many songs before it actually came out.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4 singles that came out ahead of time. But so and again, this was another album where Arch Enemy stuck to what they were good at, and then sprinkled in a little bit of new ingredients here and there, just to differentiate it enough from some of their other stuff. But what happened? Oh no, she wasn't done.
Yeah, she wasn't done.
No, she wasn't done.
Well, come here. We gotta get some ratings. Here, get on here and tell everybody hi so we can get some ratings.
Hi. Hey, monkey. So needless to say, this was a 4 horn out of 5 for me, absolutely, for sure. I actually think I enjoyed this Arch Enemy album better than I liked the last one, Will to Power. War Eternal, phenomenal album.
Right.
Will to Power was good, but Deceivers, kind of picked up basically right where War Eternal left off. Not that there was much of a drop off from War Eternal to Will to Power, but this one kind of just picked right back up. So So yeah, this one's definitely gonna get 4 horns from me on this one. You know, if you're an Arch Enemy fan at all, this one's gonna be right up your alley. It really is.
I think the dog's out. So
okay, all right.
She's like she's going. She wants to go out, but then I think she sees the dog and comes back in.
Oh. Well, that just begs the question: who let the dogs out?
That's right. Yeah.
Hi, hey Venus. Hi.
Yeah.
Here you got. Here, there you go. You can see her. You
Yeah,
can see her
there you
face
go.
a little better now. There we go.
Don't rat on yourself.
So yeah, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna give. So yeah, we got 2 4 horn and we got 1 4.5 horn rating this week. So we got some decent. We got some really good albums to.
Yeah, I'm just like I feel like it's going to be so hard now because I've come across like the Source of Rage album that was so freaking good, and then
It was.
and then the Halo Effect album that's like really really great. So you still got the Megadeth, Machine Heads, and all that stuff coming out.
Yes,
Slipknots and Five Fingers.
I know.
I know. It's just like I mean, I think it's really going to be difficult to compile a top 10 this year. So
we've still we're halfway through August and we've still got 4 full months of stuff to come out. So I mean,
Devils being in the chat today, but their album Hush is definitely up in that running too, man.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, without question.
I mean, it's just been so crazy of how much good stuff, even with even with some of the bands that we've had on here, they've had, some of the Extinction AD, that their album was The Culture of Violence. That album was, superb, and Eyes of the Livings, man. Fear comes knocking. I mean, golly, dude. There's so much good stuff.
Yeah, 2012, there has been absolutely no shortage of quality heavy metal that has come out. Not even close. And I mean the list for the 19th for next week is just bonkers too. And having said that, looking ahead to August 19th, leading off, we've got Erdrick with Met de Dritand op mijn Hude. I don't know what language that is. And I don't even know if I pronounced any of those words even close to right. Then we've got Alpha Wolf. We've got Alpha Wolf and Holding Absence with The Lost and the Longing. That is a split EP for those 2 bands. Then we have Amidst Dreams of Tomorrow with Memories of a Wandering Soul. We have Black Lab with In a Bizarre Dream. Buried Under Sky with Darkest Concerns. We have Chloe Trujillo and Rav Medic with Heavy Peace. That is an EP. I'm not sure if Chloe Trujillo is any relation to Rob. I would have to look that up. Then we have Conan with Evidence of Immortality. We have Concrete Ties with Unrecognizable. We have Crown with Live from Studio Grundal. That is an EP. We have Dawn Walker with House of Sand. Dead City Ruins with Shockwave. Dead Mist Creek with House of Gomorrah Volume 2. That is an EP. We have Doldre with Celestial Deconstruction. Dragon Throne with Dawnbringer. Elliot's Keep with Vulnerant Omnis. We have Empress with Fate Weaver. Eruption with Tellurian Rupture. We have Fatso Jetson and All Souls with Live from Total Annihilation. That is another split album. We have Farum with Asunder Erode. We have Flame Imperishable with Glory and Ruin. Then we have a new one from Hammer King, which is going to be awesome. We have Hammer King with King Demonium. We have High Lung with Griff. We have Hive with Spiritual We have Hive with Spiritual Poverty. We have, I don't know why they have this on here twice with that Holding Absence and Alpha Wolf, that split EP. They have that on here twice. Then we have House of Worship with The Cold That You Left. We have I Prevail with True Power. So I Prevail's got something coming out.
Yeah, nice.
Then we have Kill Everything, Necrotic, Gore Beast, Virulent Excision, and Gorepot with Acts of Sadistic Cruelty. That is a split album, I guess, between those 4 bands. I guess it looks like there's 4 bands on there. Then we have
Wow.
we have Lucifer's Fall and Eldritch Rites with Graveyard Rites. That is another split album. We have Mammoth Volume with The Cursed Who Performed the Larva God Rites. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then summon something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, talking about opening a portal to hell. Yeah, exactly. I know. Then we have Mass Extinction with Never Ending Holocaust, Morbid Evils with Supernaturals, Nocturnal Sorcery with The Holy Law in Total Ruin. We have The Occult with a self-titled album. We have Oryx with Caghevina. I think I may have said that right. I don't know. We have Orthodox with Learning to Dissolve. We have Oserv with Els Nous Cants de la Sibylla. I don't know. I'm just reading it the way it's on here. I don't, like I say, another one that I don't know what language I'm speaking. Then we have Pelican with Australasia. That is a re-release. We have Pensy Slow with Neglect. Phantom Spell with Immortals Requiem. Pistols at Dawn with Ascension. Cyclona with Palo Verde. Return of the Soul with Digital Dream. Russian Circles with Gnosis. 6x6 with a self-titled album. The Sombre with Monuments of Grief. Maybe it's the Somber. I don't know. Here we go. Spirit Adrift with 20 Centuries Gone. They got a new album coming out next week. So
nice.
Yeah. We have Spite with Dedication to Flesh. We have Still Form with From the Rot is a Gift, I guess. We have Soilwork with Overgiven Heaton. I actually think I said that one right. And then Solemn Lament with a self-titled EP. Splintered Throne with The Greater Good of Man. Thunder Mother with Black and Gold. Tomb of Finland with Across the Barren Fields. Trauman von Aura with 2 new albums, it looks like. One of them's called Aurora and one of them's called Luna. It doesn't say that they're re-releases, so I'm assuming that they've got 2 new albums coming out because they're listed separately. Then we have Tyrants of Chaos with Relentless Thirst for Power. And last, but definitely not least, we have White Rune with Dawn of the White Rune. So we have quite the list to choose from for next week. So
I can tell you now, a Spirit Adrift listen will be in that mix. So
right, yeah. We may find inspiration for a new copyright strike from that album too.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So man, for a 2-piece man, that the guitar work and stuff on their albums are so fucking amazing.
Oh, it's absolutely stellar.
Yeah. So if we get too much more, we have to go back to Light the Torch and
right.
start using that little guitar intro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is an awesome intro as well.
I was about to say I would happily take a copyright strike for that one too.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Hopefully with the the news coming up in September, which we told you we had news coming up next week, but they actually pushed that till September. So as soon as we know more about that news from the platform, from the VOP platform, we'll let you guys know for sure. So
yes, we will.
But for right now, there's no changes. We're just still available on all the VOP USA app on the phone and
the 140 plus streaming platforms where you can find us. We're still at all of those.
And Twitch and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and and so on and so on. And, radio.co is where we do most of the radio stuff. So so we're not, so for you people that are like watching, we're not just watchable, we're also listenable on radio. So
yes, we are.
If you got things to do and you want to keep us with you, just go on to radio.co and take us with you. So
yep, radio.co and also the VOP USA Radio mobile app. You can find us take us on the go there too.
Yeah. If you're out door dashing or grub hubbing or whatever like that, you can also want to pass the time. That's what we're here for. Hopefully we got a couple of hundred new viewers from the granddaughter being on today. So
that'd be great.
She might have to be a regular.
That's right.
I was there, something kept pecking me. I'm like, what the hell's pecking me? uh, of course, you can't say no to that face. So,
Oh no, you absolutely can't.
All right, we're going to wrap this bad boy up for you guys, and
Yep.
hopefully you guys enjoyed, and definitely had a pretty good show discussion wise, and we
Oh yeah.
appreciate Devil for being in here and keeping a lot of that going too. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah. Thanks.
definitely
Yeah.
some
Definitely.
good,
Definitely. Thanks to.
some good combo there. So,
Yeah. Thanks. Definitely. Thanks
as
to
always,
Devil and. Yep. Thanks to Devil and thanks to Octavio for another one of
yeah.
our regulars for coming by and saying hello. We appreciate Octavio and we definitely appreciate our friends from Devil coming on by.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's always good to create those relationships where you still have like I said, I still talk to John O'Connor from one of the last
Mm-hmm.
every once in a while. We
Oh
still
yeah.
message each other, so
Yep.
it's cool. It's cool to have the relationships that we've created during all this. I mean, it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't take nothing for that part of it for sure. So
Oh no, absolutely not.
yeah, we met some really good guys on
Mm-hmm.
this platform and girls. So sepsis is one of the.
Oh yeah.
Don't want to leave the females from sepsis out. So
Yeah. But again, just another example we were talking about earlier. You know, another
mhm.
band with a very very talented female at the helm.
Yep, and also they're all about self production and stuff.
Oh
So
yeah.
they'll actually learned more from the inside work, about the inside workings of stuff from William, ranting like he did,
We learned a
kind
lot
of
from William. Yeah, we did.
yeah. So I mean, no, smart guy, dude. Like he's
Hmm.
on top of his game. So
Oh
he's
yeah.
definitely. I'll definitely say this. If sepsis doesn't ever get to be, like a stadium level band, it's not because of what they do and what they know, because it's going to be because there was nothing in it for them, because Williams not going to let that band get screwed over. So,
Hell
uh,
no. Hell no. Mm-mm.
uh, and it's the way it should be. Bands shouldn't be getting screwed over. Like we talk about with the percentages of your merch. That's bullshit, because venues have nothing to do with your merch.
Yeah.
That's all your stuff. You put money in for that. So
Yeah. Oh man, I would.
you know
Yeah. Now that you
I've
brought
been
that
like,
up.
okay, I would have been first off with the venue. I'd have been like, okay, how much money did you pay for this shit? And fuck you,
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
know.
Yeah. I would actually. I mean, I can obviously picture where this would go, but I would love to hear William's take on that situation.
Oh God,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe we should
No.
send him a message and ask him. We should send him a message asking.
So hey, you want to come on a show and talk about that?
Yeah.
He's like, well, how many hours you got? So,
Hey, Dan says we can go as long as we want. So
oh
and
yeah,
as
that's
hey,
true.
and
So,
if we were to tell Dan that William's coming back on, he would
oh yeah,
probably
he would definitely be on here. So
he'd be here. So
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
All right, guys, we don't want to keep you no longer than we have to, because it's already approaching the third hour here. So
Yep.
radio's already been gone there. So
Yep.
just so we just had a live mic with no airwaves. So so we were disconnected. So we're good.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So
But yeah, we'll see.
right.
We'll see you guys back here next week. If anything changes right now, like I say, as of right now, we're still working on getting some bands on, so we don't have anybody lined up as of right now for next week. So for right now, it looks like we'll be back with another live episode with the regular format.
Yeah, we're still talking to some bands across the pond there, so it
Yep.
may take them a day or two to catch up. So
Yep. But we'll definitely let you go. We'll definitely let everybody know at the Facebook group if that changes. For all you other guys, if you show up and we have a band, you'll be surprised. If not, it'll just be just be the normal format with that you guys have come to know and hopefully love.
Yeah.
But yeah. But until then, that's gonna take care of us for today.
All right, until next week, guys. Keep those devil horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can. See you guys next week.
Yes. Have a great week, guys. Thank you very much.